A black-haired young man, Roland, moves quietly through a silent hall, focusing on the guarded throne beyond tall pillars. Outside, an armored guard patrols along the castle wall, while Roland observes from the shadows, judging the timing. With precise movement, Roland eliminates the guard without noise, then checks the body to ensure the threat is gone. He climbs higher along the structure and proceeds inward, the large castle extending into darkness. Reaching a sealed door, Roland raises a faintly glowing tool, preparing to break through and continue his mission. Roland unlocks the sealed door with a precise tool, quietly slipping inside without leaving any trace. A sudden shift follows as he detects movement, his body reacting instantly to an unseen presence behind him. A mysterious woman appears above, observing him with interest while dark energy gathers around her form. Elsewhere, a group of warriors discusses their plan, unaware that Roland has already infiltrated the Demon King's hall. They prepare themselves, intending to draw attention, while Roland continues alone, advancing deeper toward his objective. Roland listens as the group finalizes their strategy, remaining calm while his role stays hidden in the shadows. A confident smile spreads across the young warrior's face, showing her determination as the team steels itself for the battle ahead. After the discussion, they pause briefly, sharing a quiet moment before moving forward with their plan. The group gathers together on the worn floor, resting and preparing their strength for the coming fight. Roland stands apart, his gaze steady, already set on eliminating the target while the others focus on their roles. Roland quietly leaves the room, stepping away while the others remain focused on their plan. The young warrior questions his action, but Roland stays calm, giving little explanation as he moves forward. He walks alone through the hall, unnoticed, while a powerful presence watches him with growing interest. The enemy unleashes a massive attack, lightning surging across the space to eliminate him instantly. The explosion settles, yet something feels wrong, as Roland's presence cannot be clearly sensed anymore. The Demon King reacts as the attack finishes, her body tensing, when she senses something still nearby. She steadies herself amid the fey, scanning the area while her expression shifts into cautious focus. Realizing her opponent remains active, she acknowledges Roland's speed and prepares for a direct confrontation. Dark power gathers as she unleashes another precise strike, aiming to reveal his position through overwhelming force. The ground splits apart under the impact, yet Roland remains unseen, leaving the Demon King unable to track him. Roland appears directly before the Demon King, striking with precision before she can react. Wounded, she acknowledges defeat and attempts to declare the end of her forces, while Roland stands over her. Despite her condition, resistance remains as she refuses to fully accept the outcome. Tears fall from her eyes while Roland watches calmly, waiting for any final action. The hall falls silent as the battle concludes, leaving the fallen ruler and the approaching aftermath behind. Roland leaves the ruined castle behind, walking alone as the mission reaches its end. News spreads through the kingdom, confirming the Demon King's fall, while others reflect on the outcome. He meets a noble figure, standing calmly as his actions are acknowledged, without drawing attention to himself. Roland explains his ability in simple terms, describing how he avoids detection, rather than boasting about strength. The conversation ends with him remaining humble, showing no pride despite completing a task no one else could achieve. The noble reviews reports, recognizing Roland's presence, greatly improved the group's success against the Demon King. Praise follows, yet Roland shows little interest in recognition, remaining distant from the title offered to him. He declines the reward, insisting the warriors who fought openly deserve the credit instead. Attention shifts to Almeria, whose ability and background earn her acknowledgement as a rising figure. Even with further rewards proposed, Roland remains uninterested, choosing to stay unnoticed rather than accept status or wealth. Roland considers the offer placed before him, finding it harder to accept than any mission he has completed. Relief spreads among those present, as his refusal avoids unnecessary complications. He reveals his true wish, choosing a quiet life free from conflict, rather than continuing as an assassin. The king listens and accepts his decision, offering support for whatever path Roland chooses next. With a final exchange, Roland departs the castle, leaving behind recognition and stepping toward a peaceful future. Roland walks through the hall as a cat follows him, staying close while he adjusts its collar. The cat transforms back into a woman, revealing her true form after remaining hidden during the battle. She approaches Roland calmly, explaining her presence while observing his actions and choices. Her identity becomes clear, connected to the fallen Demon King. While reflecting on the end of that era, she stays beside Roland, showing interest in him as he continues forward, choosing to remain near him for now. Roland leaves the castle with the woman beside him, her demeanor softer as she adjusts to her freedom. They enter a lively town, blending into the crowd, while deciding to live quietly among ordinary people. He moves forward without hesitation. While she observes everything, unfamiliar with such a peaceful setting, Roland reflects on a simple routine, defining life through basic needs and steady habits. She questions his view, realizing his idea of normal differs greatly, yet continues following him into this new life. Roland and Layla share a quiet room, adjusting to a new life as she studies human behavior with curiosity. She grows closer to him, expressing trust while he remains unsure how to respond to her sincerity. Their distance fades as she clings to him, leaving Roland confused by her sudden attachment. A knock interrupts the moment, forcing Roland to quickly regain composure as someone calls for him. He answers the door calmly, accepting the situation while continuing to adapt to an unfamiliar routine. A neighbor complains about strange sounds from Roland's room, bringing an unexpected problem to his quiet life. Roland avoids suspicion by presenting a cat, calming the situation, and keeping his circumstances hidden. Later, he reflects on daily life, simplifying it into basic routines. While trying to understand normal behavior, confusion follows as his interpretation creates misunderstandings, revealing his lack of familiarity with ordinary living. Realizing his situation, Roland considers finding work, deciding to move forward by adapting to a more practical path. Roland considers a suggestion to join the Adventurers Guild as staff, seeing it as a possible step toward a normal life. He arrives at the guild building, deciding to move forward with the idea. Inside, he is welcomed and guided through the process, standing out despite trying to remain ordinary. He applies for recruitment instead of becoming an adventurer, choosing a quieter role. Led to an interview, Roland prepares seriously, viewing this chance as a way to begin living normally. Roland enters the interview room and meets Iris, the branch director, presenting himself calmly as the process begins. She questions his background, finding no experience, while Roland answers plainly without showing concern. Frustration rises as she reacts to his lack of effort, doubting his suitability for the guild. Despite this, she allows the evaluation to continue, focusing on ability rather than history as Roland remains composed. Roland accepts the conditions and prepares to demonstrate his skills, seeing the situation turn in his favor. Then Roland moves through the room unnoticed, passing close to others while remaining completely ignored. He sits calmly as the director continues observing, still unsure about his true ability. She explains the job's demands, expecting normal skills, while Roland quietly prepares to respond. He suddenly presents an item taken without her noticing, revealing the gap in their awareness. Realization strikes as she understands his skill, seeing how he can act without being detected at all. Roland explains his method, controlling movement and presence to remain completely undetected during actions. He demonstrates again, showing how easily he can take items without being noticed, even in close range. Despite calling it a normal test, he finds the situation unusually difficult to handle. The director realizes what happened, shocked that she failed to notice anything during the act. Roland restores everything, while her reaction intensifies, confirming his overwhelming ability to act without detection. Iris reluctantly acknowledges Roland's ability, still unsettled by how effortlessly he demonstrated his skills. Although she downplays the result, Roland remains calm, accepting the outcome without concern. Her attitude shifts suddenly, insisting that someone with his capability must stay and work with the guild. Roland leaves the room afterward, reflecting on his new path as he begins adapting to what he considers a normal life. Roland prepared for his first day as a guild staff member, presenting himself as an ordinary worker, while concealing his true strength. Before leaving, he ensured the demon girl remained hidden at home. The creature observed his behavior with mild curiosity, noting his unusual enthusiasm, despite the modest position. At the guild, Roland arrived quietly, blending into the surroundings, while others carried on with routine activities. A receptionist welcomed him, recognizing his success, while Roland maintained a humble attitude, continuing to hide his true abilities. The receptionist praised Roland's approval, treating him with admiration, while assigning herself as his senior. She guided him through the facility, explaining daily tasks, as he observed the simple routine of guild work. Roland admitted his limited knowledge, showing unfamiliarity with the role despite his composed demeanor. Curiosity arose as he questioned the nature of the job, prompting further explanation. She described adventurers handling dangerous requests, outlining a system where missions involved risk materials and rewards within structured quests. Roland summarized the guild's role bluntly, viewing adventurers as inexperienced workers completing assigned requests. The receptionist guided him to observe a quest process, showing adventurers submitting collected materials for evaluation. She introduced Roland to a senior adventurer, who immediately questioned his lack of experience. The man dismissed Roland as unqualified, asserting dominance, while highlighting his own rank and confidence. Ignoring the tension, Roland calmly examined a herb collection quest, focusing on its details rather than the confrontation. Roland reviewed the herbs carefully, noticing irregularities while confirming the total count presented. He pointed out that unrelated leaves were mixed into the collection, identifying an error in the submission. The senior adventurer reacted angrily, interpreting the remark as an insult to his work. He asserted his experience and authority, rejecting Roland's input while elevating his own status. Despite the hostility, Roland remained composed, while the man dismissed the issue and ended the exchange with forced tolerance. Roland listened as the certification of a plant master was explained, understanding the authority behind the title. Ignoring pressure to apologize, he calmly requested a proper inspection of the collected herbs. He demonstrated the differences between similar leaves, revealing subtle markings that proved many were incorrect. The evaluation showed only half the materials were valid, exposing flaws in the submission. Anger escalated as the man lashed out, but Roland remained unfazed, treating the situation as insignificant. The adventurer rushed forward in anger, but Roland moved instantly, knocking him down with precise force. The man collapsed, unable to continue, while Roland remained calm and unaffected by the outburst. Milia praised Roland's knowledge, realizing the mistake could have caused serious consequences. Roland explained the danger plainly, noting that failure in such tasks often leads to fatal outcomes. His words confused her, as she struggled to understand the severity he described, compared to normal guild work. Roland reflected on the situation, sensing something unusual about the guild's standards compared to his expectations. He admitted the difference in work style, though his perspective confused Milia, who could not follow his reasoning. The senior assigned Roland a workspace filled with disorganized documents, isolating him from others. Dismissed as unnecessary, he accepted the task without protest, quietly observing the environment. While sorting the overwhelming piles, Roland concluded this routine work finally resembled the normal life he sought. Roland was approached by the demon creature, who questioned his choice to live such a mundane life. He firmly stated his decision to abandon his past as an assassin, showing no intention of returning. Discussion shifted to recent events, as he mentioned the heroes who defeated the Demon King, hiding his connection to it. Roland reflected on his choice, accepting a quiet life, while others celebrated achievements he left behind. The creature observed him silently, viewing his decision as wasteful. Despite his unwavering resolve, Roland quickly finished organizing the documents, showing quiet efficiency that contrasted with the expected workload. Milia offered to share her meal during the break, acknowledging his effort and trying to include him. He declined politely, choosing to step outside instead, sensing something unusual nearby. Outside, a group approached with suspicious intent, attempting to draw him into their matter. Recognizing their connection to the earlier incident, Roland remained alert as the situation began to escalate. Roland attempted to leave peacefully, asking the group to wait while he handled his break. One man attacked suddenly, but Roland reacted instantly, evading the strike with ease. He calculated the situation, avoiding unnecessary attention while recognizing the risk of escalation. Deciding to end it quickly, Roland moved with controlled precision to stop the threat. The attacker was overwhelmed in an instant, his strength rendered meaningless against Roland's quiet skill. Another attacker rushed in, forcing Roland to act quickly as the situation threatened to prolong. He subdued the remaining opponents efficiently, ending the conflict without drawing unnecessary attention. When questioned, Roland maintained his cover, presenting himself as nothing more than an ordinary employee. He quietly asked Milia to keep what she witnessed a secret, closing the distance to ensure privacy. Caught off guard by his presence, she froze in confusion, while Roland calmly considered his next move. The fallen adventurer regained consciousness, confused by the sudden defeat and unable to understand what had happened. Nearby, Roland held Milia close, using the moment to secure her silence through an unexpected approach. The man observed from a distance, overwhelmed and unable to comprehend the situation unfolding before him. Milia struggled with her emotions, caught between confusion and admiration toward Roland's actions. As the scene settled, Roland returned to composure, while others remained uncertain about his true nature. Milia handed Roland a thick guidebook, explaining its importance while outlining the usual duties for new staff. He quickly read through it, memorizing the contents with ease, surprising her with his efficiency. Assigned to observe, Roland watched the process as adventurers approached the desk to request quests. He carefully examined an adventurer's identification, confirming the details with focused attention. Without hesitation, Roland selected a suitable quest, demonstrating quiet competence. Despite his supposed inexperience, Roland followed the usual process, reviewing quests and documents, though he found the system unusually inconsistent. While checking an identification paper, he detected signs of forgery and pointed out hidden irregularities. He explained his reasoning calmly, observing the man's shifting behavior as confirmation of suspicion. Recalling the guild's rules, Roland concluded the situation required a simple explanation rather than assumptions. The truth emerged as he declared the document invalid, exposing the man as unqualified and provoking an angry reaction. The man denied the accusation, insisting the document was merely damaged while Milia hesitated, unsure of the truth. Roland calmly clarified the difference, exposing the flaw and leaving her visibly shaken. Enraged, the man forced her to apologize, escalating the situation through intimidation. Roland observed quietly, recognizing the imbalance and the man's disregard for reason. The confrontation shifted as Roland requested the paper again, preparing to resolve the matter with certainty. The man tried to protect the document, but Roland applied a small flame, revealing the hidden magic within it. He explained the contradiction calmly, exposing the unnatural protection placed on the forged paper. As the document burned, the man reacted in panic, realizing his deception had been uncovered. Roland declared the act illegal, stating that all related items would be invalidated. The man resisted the outcome, unable to accept that such a simple action had completely destroyed his scheme. Roland exposed the flaw in the disguise, explaining how careless details revealed the man's criminal intent. He warned him calmly, making it clear that such actions would have ended in death under different circumstances. As tension rose, the man attempted to escape, realizing the situation had turned against him. Roland intercepted instantly, stopping him with precise force before he could get away. The man collapsed, leaving the guild in silence, as Roland returned to his composed demeanor. After the incident, guards escorted the criminal away, while Milia expressed relief, recognizing Roland's quiet capability. He dismissed the praise and returned to his duties, remaining focused on maintaining a normal life, despite his hidden strength. Roland stood inside the guild building while a cheerful coworker spoke nearby. The casual mood contrasted with Roland's quiet presence as work continued around them. Milia approached and asked about his residence. Roland paused slightly while organizing documents, showing uncertainty about the simple question. Her reaction grew surprised, as she assumed he must be wealthy. Roland explained briefly, though her confusion only deepened at his situation. A sharp realization struck him. Ordinary living arrangements felt distant, clashing with his past habits and mindset. He reflected on years spent tracking targets, never settling. Roland noticed Milia's concern about his meals, though he dismissed it calmly. He considered her advice and decided to search for proper housing. The idea of living normally began to settle in his thoughts. Milia eagerly offered guidance, confident in her knowledge of the area. Work continued as others reacted quietly, while Milia showed excitement about finding a suitable place for him. Later, Roland reflected alone. Everyday interactions remained unfamiliar, and he analyzed them carefully while adjusting to ordinary life. Roland arrived with a cat on his shoulder, meeting Milia near a quiet building as their search began. Her attention shifted to the animal, and Roland briefly explained while watching her reaction. They walked through the town, checking houses as Milia guided him confidently. Roland observed each place with a calm, careful mindset, She pointed out a peaceful home in a residential area, explaining its condition and convenience. Roland considered the details. Melia hinted at living nearby, but Roland chose to continue, focusing on finding a more suitable place. The road stretched ahead as Roland walked beside Melia, passing several houses. Fatigue slowly built, but the search continued steadily. Attention shifted to a distant home, once owned by an adventurer. Its remote location reduced convenience. Despite its availability, upon arrival, Roland studied the structure and its surroundings in silence. While Melia moved to assist, Roland reached the entrance first. His actions became cautious as he prepared to open the door. A subtle unease stopped him. He signaled her to stay back. Choosing to investigate alone with heightened awareness, a strange presence drew Roland inside the house. Dark energy leaked from a room, and he advanced carefully to investigate. The atmosphere felt unnatural. Roland analyzed the situation calmly, recognizing that ordinary people would struggle to endure it. A dark phantasm appeared, filling the space with unstable energy. Roland prepared himself, deciding to handle it without causing damage. Power gathered around his body as he struck decisively. Afterward, Roland reflected on his technique. Even in a normal setting, combat felt more familiar than daily life. Roland returned outside and assured Melia that everything was fine. He decided to take the house, finding it suitable and calm. She reacted with enthusiasm and offered to help him settle in. Roland accepted while preparing to clean the place first. Left alone, he reflected on her kindness. The situation felt unusual, yet he acknowledged her genuine support. A mysterious woman suddenly appeared and moved close to him. Roland remained composed while sensing something unusual about her presence. Before he could react further, she closed the distance. The woman moved close, but Roland remained calm and assigned tasks, treating the situation as routine work. Irritated, she reacted forcefully, pushing him as tension rose inside the house. The floor suddenly collapsed beneath her, leaving her trapped while Roland watched without panic. Later, the space was restored as cleaning continued. Melia returned, noticing the progress and the unusual calm. The mysterious woman introduced herself as Layla, revealing her identity as a demon, while Roland quietly assessed the situation. Melia relaxed after hearing the situation was under control. Roland reassured her calmly, keeping the matter simple. During the meal, the mysterious woman joined without hesitation. Her behavior drew attention as Roland remained composed. After eating, they returned to cleaning. Melia offered help, and the work continued with steady cooperation. The room gradually improved as tasks were completed. Roland maintained focus while others adjusted to the environment. The woman attempted to summon assistance using magic, but the act revealed her nature further, adding tension to the group. The woman attempted to demonstrate her ability, yet nothing appeared. Confusion spread as no magic could be sensed. Frustration followed, though the mood remained light. Roland observed quietly while the house grew cleaner. Melia invited him for dinner, but Roland hesitated before considering her offer carefully. They walked outside as she mentioned earlier rumors about monsters. Roland explained the situation with calm certainty. He identified the entity as a dark phantasm, noting its nature, while reflecting on its unusual characteristics. Night settled as Roland returned, maintaining his claim of being ordinary, despite Melia's growing suspicion. He entered her home, where dinner had already been prepared. The warm setting contrasted with his quiet demeanor. They shared a meal with her family, listening as conversation flowed naturally. Roland remained reserved. While observing, discussion shifted to his past, drawing interest from those around him. He answered calmly without revealing much. As the evening ended, Roland reflected on their words. A simple, peaceful life felt unfamiliar, yet quietly appealing. Conversation turned toward relationships as Roland listened quietly, remaining distant from the topic, despite others' views. Later, he left the house and walked alone under the night sky, reflecting on unfamiliar emotions and expectations. The demon woman appeared again and closed the distance abruptly. Roland responded without hesitation, matching her sudden approach. The moment intensified as neither pulled away. Their actions carried tension, driven by instinct rather than words. Lauren left the quiet house early, heading into town. Inside the guild hall, he greeted his colleagues. Today, he was assigned to the delivery counter, taking requests from adventurers directly. As Lauren settled in, Adventurers approached steadily. A stern woman sought a quest. Calmly, Loran requested her identification. She handed it over. He quietly studied her records, noting her steady solo work. Though her past quests were low rank, she requested a tougher task. Loran browsed the files, choosing one. He handed her a D-rank mission targeting killer falcons with a nod of trust. Loran begins his day walking from the countryside to the guild. Assigned to the delivery counter, he is asked to support adventurers taking quests, starting with a warrior named Nil. Loran reviews the quest board and selects a suitable D-rank subjugation mission. Despite doubts, he hands over a request to eliminate killer falcons, aware Nil seeks to prove himself. Concerned about the quest's difficulty, Loran discusses it with Milia. After confirming it's the only available choice, he assigns the mission. Then, requesting Milia's help, he heads to investigate. Loran left early, heading to the guild. Assigned to the counter, he calmly took on the role, observing every adventurer. A D-rank request caught his attention, one with hidden risks. He reviewed the quest again, noting the danger. Milia questioned its difficulty, but others dismissed her concerns. Loran weighed the facts and handed the task out carefully, quietly, but troubled. Suspicious of the adventurer's readiness, Loran handed off his desk duties. With quiet resolve, he left the guild, glasses in hand, resuming the hidden self only few dared whisper about. Loran entered the forest quietly, guided by memory and instinct. His target was near. Ahead, the struggling adventurer tried shooting down a swift falcon, unaware of how outmatched he was. The falcon dove. The adventurer missed, stumbled. Loran observed in silence, his strategy too reckless. The bird's speed was top tier. Ground combat wouldn't work. A smarter approach was needed urgently. Loran approached calmly. He shared knowledge about the falcon's behavior. Its weak point revealed only during attacks. Bait would be essential. The adventurer listened, determined to try a better method. Loran quietly observed the dense forest, recalling the quest's location. As he stepped forward, his eyes narrowed on a distant hill. The archer struggled while a falcon circled above. The falcon dived ferociously. The archer stumbled under pressure. Loran assessed his flawed tactics calmly. Shooting from the ground wouldn't work. It was time to intervene before the falcon struck again. With calm steps, Loran approached. He advised the archer about the falcon's habits, explaining bait strategy. Surprised, the archer absorbed the wisdom, determined now to strike with precise, deliberate force. The archer steadied his breath, eyes locked on the predator's dive. The falcon's deadly speed tore through the air, but the archer's will did not waver as danger neared. The sky split open with the falcon's screech, its wings slicing the wind. The archer loosed his arrow with desperate precision, while his mentor calmly observed from behind. After the hunt, he returned silently. Concerned voices met him, unaware of his real mission. He smiled, feigning ignorance, hiding both fatigue and the truth behind his calm demeanor. Loran walked through the town, responding politely as Elmia questioned his motives. She'd heard rumors, dark ones, but he calmly claimed he was just doing his job. She didn't believe that. Despite knowing his past, Elmia promised to keep his secret. Her teasing backfired when Loran startled her with a joke. Unfazed, he left to oversee the adventurer's quest progress. As Loran disappeared into the street, she recalled the change in his presence. Behind the glasses was someone terrifying, an assassin hidden beneath the appearance of an ordinary employee. Loran arrived at the designated forest clearing, his memory guiding him from the quest details. His sharp eyes caught sight of the archer struggling on a hilltop, his target, a killer falcon. Approaching calmly, Loran explained the falcon's behavior and vulnerabilities. Though skeptical, the archer listened. A plan formed: distract the beast with movement, then strike in its only vulnerable moment during the hunt. Rumors stirred through the guild as Milia quietly listened. Whispers about Loran's deeds defeating monsters and aiding others began to spread. She recalled their time together and wondered about his hidden strength. Around the table, the adventurers exchanged details. A quest gone silent, a missing comrade, and Loran's quiet resolve had drawn them in. What began as a simple errand revealed deeper truths. The revelation shocked them. Loran had been sent by the branch director herself. With his cat and unassuming manner, he'd captured hearts and curiosity alike. But one question lingered. Who was he? Loran impressed the others with his sharp memory and calm precision. He memorized the map instantly, led them through the forest, and reached the destination with no hesitation or delay. He vanished briefly into the cave, swiftly subduing the threat alone. The gray bear, reunited with her cub, was spared. Loran's choice surprised them. Mercy, even for monsters, was rare. Back at the guild, the rescued adventurer offered heartfelt thanks. Loren accepted with quiet grace. For once, his deadly skills found peace in helping others. This job wasn't so bad. Loren returned to work, greeted by concern and chatter. His calm demeanor reassured them, though teasing persisted. Milia's relief was evident. He quietly resumed tasks, unnoticed strength masked by gentle routine. The guild bustled. Loren methodically organized requests, sorting quests and confirming paperwork. Even nearing day's end, his focus didn't waver. As dusk settled, his resolve for precision and anonymity remained intact. A loud adventurer burst in, feathers in hand, eager to confirm her success. Loren verified them swiftly, offering congratulations. Her bright grin lit the room, unknowingly moved by his quiet praise. Loren quietly managed paperwork, while others sought his help. Milia and her companion rushed in, asking him to join a dangerous trip. Startled, he hesitated, sensing trouble ahead. Though unsure, Loren listened as Milia explained the need for his strength. The branch director approved without question. He stood in silence, caught between duty and his life in hiding. The director's trust was firm. She reminded him of his past feats. Despite resisting, Loren accepted. If protecting others meant breaking routine, then maybe blending in would require stepping forward. Loren's sudden feats stirred the guild. Whispers spread as Milia quietly admired his quiet strength. He wasn't flashy, yet his name grew, hinting at a hidden past none expected. The branch director's approval stunned everyone. Loren agreed to join the party, his calm demeanor concealing deadly skill. Milia smiled nervously, unsure whether admiration or unease filled her growing interest. Assigned to the quest, Loren greeted his new team. Though underestimated, he calmly accepted doubts. With no weapon in hand, he promised only this: he wouldn't slow them down. Loren effortlessly memorized the map, leading the group without error. Despite it being his first time, they reached the location with ease. His swift subjugation surprised even the experienced guild members. Upon returning, they learned the gray bear had reunited with her cub. Loren's mercy spared the creature. Back at the guild, someone searched for him, grateful, determined to meet again. The warrior from before thanked Loren deeply, calling him her savior. Loren simply nodded, advising caution. For once, being acknowledged for peace instead of death gave him a quiet satisfaction. Loren calmly juggled paperwork requests from coworkers, never showing annoyance. To others, he was the dependable errand boy. Only the black cat nearby questioned if he ever found it dull. Despite the chaotic guild atmosphere, Loren remained composed, helping everyone while quietly investigating a missing member. Milia's concerns led him to a clue, hinting at a larger issue brewing. The missing member was linked to an urgent quest near Loren's village. With time running out, Milia pleaded for his help. Though hesitant, Loren knew he couldn't ignore the situation. The group halted as smoke rose in the distance. Loren sensed trouble. A beast emerged, unnerving and unfamiliar. While panic spread, he stayed calm, analyzing the threat with quiet certainty. He identified it: a red wolf, agile and deadly. Others scrambled for a strategy, but Loren stepped in, issuing calm commands. His composure stirred awe. This was no ordinary employee. The wolf charged. Panic exploded. Loren took control, slapping sense into a teammate. With firm words and piercing eyes, he demanded obedience. Reluctantly, they listened, each now holding formation as ordered. The red wolf collapsed, pierced through the eye. The young warrior trembled, realizing he was alive. The man in glasses calmly explained the beast's weakness. Gratitude replaced fear among the group. With admiration in their voices, the group praised the strategist's calm brilliance. Though annoyed by their praise, he accepted their reliance. The healer, moved by his resolve, offered their full trust. As they marched onward, smoke drifted into view. The strategist halted, puzzled. Red wolves shouldn't be this far north. His sharp gaze narrowed. Something unnatural was unfolding near the village ahead. Reaching the hill's edge, the group froze. The village below was engulfed in flames. Smoke rose violently. Their expressions hardened. This wasn't random. Something or someone had led the red wolf here. The battle ended. The young fighter dropped to his knees, breathing hard. The red wolf lay silent. Their leader praised his restraint. Relief swept over them, knowing death had been avoided. Gratitude turned into admiration. His teammates celebrated him as a hero. Though embarrassed, he accepted their praise. The leader offered future guidance, forming a quiet but growing bond of trust. As they traveled on, smoke stained the sky. The leader paused, troubled. Red wolf shouldn't be this far north. A deeper mystery stirred behind the forest silence and rising flames. The red wolf fell from a swift, well-placed strike, The employee's guidance saved the party member, who knelt, trembling. Calmly, he explained the wolf's weakness and praised their restraint. Their success earned praise. Teammates called him Big Bro, though he protested. Still, they looked up to him now. He agreed to guide them further, shaking hands with resolve. While heading south, the employee stopped. Something felt off. Red wolves shouldn't be this far north. Sensing unnatural movement ahead, he narrowed his eyes. Smoke rose beyond the forest path. A red wolf lunged, but the boy followed precise advice. The strike landed true. The enemy fell. He trembled, overwhelmed by fear and relief. Beside him, the calm man observed. Grateful comrades showered him with praise. The silent man, unfazed, simply nodded. He extended his offer to guide them further. They accepted, unaware of his deeper strength and mystery. They headed south. A village burned ahead, far from the red wolf's natural ground. The calm man narrowed his eyes, suspecting something far more dangerous was stirring in the shadows. Loren dragged the defeated salamander's body through the forest. His expression calm, movements precise. From the shadows, a hidden observer watched in disbelief, unsure if he'd been noticed or merely imagined it. The villagers gathered, relief spreading as Loran confirmed the beast's defeat. Though they cheered, Loran calmly mentioned another threat. But the team revealed they'd already slain the red wolf en route. As the sun set, villagers offered gratitude and rest. Loran declined attention, observing damage and tending the wounded. Despite their praise, he remained distant, burdened by the weight of silent duty. Flames engulfed the village. Citizens scrambled with buckets. Loran calmly assessed the chaos. A beast had caused the fire, described as large, lizard-like. His quiet gaze fixed ahead. Loran gave orders. While others fought the flames, he moved alone through the scorched village. His expression sharpened. He suspected a salamander, a beast beyond the current party's skill. He arrived at the burning edge. The salamander emerged. Loran's eyes locked on. The creature, startled, prepared to strike. But Loran had already calculated its end. A monstrous lizard attacked suddenly, its jaws wide with fury. The man calmly observed, unfazed. Wind swirled, a strange magic igniting as his presence disrupted the beast's charge completely. Power gathered in his palm. With one fluid movement, he unleashed a blinding strike. The lizard hesitated, confused, as a swirling force exploded, subduing the monster into stunned submission. He spoke coldly, sentencing punishment. Flames and force struck the monster hard. With unshaken composure, he moved precisely. A single hit floored the beast, justice for the village's earlier suffering. Lurking beyond the glow of the village bonfire, he sensed a presence and called it out. From the darkness emerged a flamboyant figure, grinning with curiosity, seeking confrontation or truth. The guild worker stood silently as the flamboyant adventurer assessed him. Boasting of defeated monsters and seeking teammates, the adventurer didn't realize he was vastly underestimating the quiet man's strength. Drunk on his own schemes, the adventurer revealed plans to attack more villages. The guild worker listened quietly, his gaze calm, hiding the storm that would soon crush such arrogance. As the celebration continued in the village, he quietly stepped into the forest. Sensing a presence, he called it out. From the shadows, a monster tamer appeared, smug and confident. The tamer mocked the villagers' hopes for peace, declaring war inevitable. He underestimated the calm man, unaware of his hidden strength. A swift movement later, blood spilled and arrogance shattered. The tamer collapsed, overwhelmed by wolves and humiliation. The man didn't look back. He vanished into the dark path ahead. His silent vow clear peace would not be stolen again. The ruined village lay silent under the crescent moon. He walked beside warriors and children, unsure if Layla was safe, his thoughts lingering on her as they ventured into rebuilding hope. A desperate adventurer trailed behind, pleading for guidance. Though uninterested, he relented slightly, offering only the basics. Despite her age, her determination to change her fate moved something deep within him. In a new town, the group gathered knowledge. He explained dangers calmly, while others listened with awe. Amid smiles and routines, a familiar face welcomed them, signaling a peaceful chapter ahead. He waited in silence as the reckless tamer emerged from the forest. The man underestimated him, assuming he was a mere guild clerk. But the air grew still. He was mistaken. Confident in his monsters and rank, the tamer boasted endlessly. The clerk listened calmly, revealing nothing. The tamer plotted destruction. Unaware, his arrogance only exposed how little he understood true strength. Mocking the fallen, the tamer claimed dominance, but the clerk struck swiftly, ending the threat without effort. As wolves gathered around the corpse, he walked away, his skills still barely revealed. He politely declined the invitation, citing a cat's care as priority. The branch director, shocked and defeated, could only watch him walk away without a hint of hesitation. At home, Layla exploded in frustration, recounting her stressful night. The man, apologetic, offered wine and steak. But guilt lingered. He confessed it was his first time killing of his own will. Curious, Layla asked how it felt. He admitted it didn't feel better. As they sat together, quiet settled. A new path had started, one where his mind was finally beginning to shift. Loran gently embraced Layla, her presence softening his guarded heart. She whispered truths only they shared. In her warmth, he finally sensed peace, something alien to an assassin's past life. Flustered, Layla erupted in embarrassment, masking her joy. Loran calmly pointed out her blushing ears. Despite her protests, he smiled faintly. In this newfound warmth, his once shadowed path began to brighten. Loran wandered into the alley after noticing strange movement. Behind him, shadowy figures mirrored his steps. Though the town bustled ahead, something behind those walls whispered danger, and something else, fate. As he turned the corner, he stopped. A frail girl, dirty and trembling, sat hidden behind a barrel. Her eyes, sharp yet hopeless, met his without fear. He knelt before her, observing the branded collar beneath her ragged clothes. A slave, discarded and forgotten. Without hesitation, his hand reached into his pouch for bread, not weapons. As he wandered through the alley, he noticed movement behind some crates. Curiosity turned to concern when he saw the frail girl huddled, her body bruised, her eyes vacant. He knelt without hesitation, offering her food without words. She reached slowly, then bit into the bread, trembling. Watching her eat in silence, something shifted inside him, quiet, yet strong. Returning home with the girl, he calmly explained she'd stay. His housemate questioned his decision but didn't argue. He prepared the bath, treating her not as a burden but family. He strolled through the alley, blending with the market crowd, unnoticed. Turning a corner, he halted. In the shadows, a frail girl cowered beside a barrel, her eyes hollow. Without a word, he knelt, offering bread. Her hands trembled as she accepted it. Quietly, she ate. He watched, eyes unreadable. In his mind, questions began forming, deeper than pity. She soon slept peacefully. He asked about removing her slave mark. It was complex, demonic. Still, he wanted to try. Not for duty, but because her suffering no longer felt distant. While walking through the alley, he noticed a small figure huddled near barrels. The girl, filthy and alone, didn't speak. He offered bread. She hesitated, then reached forward silently. He brought the girl home. Layla questioned his decision, but he remained firm. The girl bathed, fed, and exhausted, finally slept peacefully. He quietly asked about breaking the slave mark. With guidance, he performed the spell. Light bloomed, the mark vanished. Layla stood stunned. He'd succeeded on his first try. Though human, his power was real. They smiled, warmth growing stronger. Loran wandered through the alley, lost in thought. A sudden shift in the shadows caught his eye. Turning, he noticed a girl, frail, hidden behind crates, watching him silently. Without a word, he approached the girl. Her eyes were hollow. He crouched, gently placing bread before her. She hesitated, then snatched it, devouring it as tears welled up. Loran sat beside her. He glanced at her bare shoulder, spotting a dark brand. A slave, abandoned and forgotten. His gaze sharpened. Quiet resolve stirred behind his calm expression. The girl, hollow-eyed and silent, accepted the bread with trembling hands. Her stomach growled. The man watched her eat in silence, then turned away, expression heavy with something deeper, regret. Returning home, the man carried the girl gently. His companion welcomed him with cheer. Though suspicious at first, she prepared dinner. The girl clung tightly, sensing warmth she'd never known. She bathed, ate, slept safely. But past torment remained. The man asked about her slave mark. His resolve hardened. He would break it, even if the world called him a traitor. The man knelt, assuring the girl he wasn't her master. Confused, she clung to the cat, uncertain of freedom. He left for work, entrusting the talking cat with her care. At the guild, he searched the records. The girl arrived unexpectedly, following the cat. Her eyes sparkled with curiosity while the cat caused a scene, drawing attention with loud protests. He opened the window and froze. She stood below, flustered, clutching the cat. Caught red-handed sneaking out, her excuse faltered. The cat remained unimpressed, feigning innocence with its usual glare. Loran refused to give up. Despite being human, he chanted the dispel spell with focus. A magical glow sparked in his palm as the girl lay unconscious and still. The spell took effect. The magical seal vanished from the girl's neck. She stirred and opened her eyes slowly. The demon girl watched in disbelief. Loran had succeeded. Astonished by his feat, the demon girl praised Loran's strength. He had cast a high-rank spell flawlessly. She suggested they celebrate. Loran simply credited her teaching and smiled faintly. He left her in the reception room, patting her head gently. With the cat in her arms, she smiled softly, feeling safe. For the first time she belonged somewhere. She asked her name, eyes wide with hope. The cat answered calmly, revealing it meant blue sky. The name Mei Li echoed inside her, as if it had always existed there. Joyful tears welled as she embraced the name. Mei Li stood proudly. Watching her, the man made his decision. He would guide her path. She wouldn't just live, she would become strong. He left her in the reception room, assuring her safety with gentle words. Though uncertain, the girl's heart softened. She smiled quietly, comforted by the warmth of a hand and trust. That night, she received a name, Mei Li. Confused at first, she repeated it softly. The name meant blue sky, and for the first time, she began to feel like someone real. Excited by her new name, Mei Li danced with joy. Her guardian watched silently, then made a decision. She would not just live. She would grow. He'd raise her to be strong. He left her in the reception room with gentle words. The girl, now comfortable, smiled warmly. With his hand on her head, she quietly accepted her new, uncertain beginning. Later, under the night sky, she received her name, Mei Li. Learning its meaning brought a spark to her heart. She repeated it softly, accepting her new identity without hesitation. Joyfully embracing her name, Mei Li danced with excitement. He watched calmly, while the cat purred with approval. With resolve in his voice, he declared she would become a proper adventurer. Under the soft moonlight, the two lay quietly, their breath calm. He opened his eyes, mind heavy. Though beside her, sleep wouldn't come. Something beyond the curtain stirred his instincts. He returned home in silence. Inside, Mei Li slept peacefully, curled up with the cat. Watching her, he knew protecting her wasn't just duty anymore. He had to end this threat. She charged forward with a stick in hand, mimicking strikes with loud energy. He stood still, observing every movement. Her attacks were wild, but determination filled each step she took forward. Impressed by her spirit, he gave calm approval. She beamed, eager for more. As lunch was called, they walked together, her mind already naming the moves she had imagined. Shouting her technique, she lunged, but he effortlessly countered without looking. Shocked, she pouted at the lesson. Silence kills. Yet she insisted moves should be named. That, she believed, was cooler. Frustrated, she lashed out, but Lauren swiftly parried. Running to complain, she found comfort in another's arms. Yet even kindness reminded her training was in play. Discipline, not sympathy, shaped true strength. Cradled safely, she listened as truths were exchanged. Loran's strength, unmatched, was beyond childish grasp. But shadows stirred silent hints of a threat returning. He watched the horizon, quietly alert again. During dinner, they discussed her training path. Assassin skills were questioned, but Loran stood firm. To fail once meant death. She smiled, unaware of the weight behind each top move. They shared a quiet picnic beneath the trees. Praise lifted Mei Li's spirits, her effort finally noticed. Though she called Loran mean, she smiled brightly. No one else could guide her like him. Talk turned serious. Was Mei Li ready? Had she trained enough? Though choices remained open, her heart knew only one path. With firm resolve, she shouted her answer. Her journey would begin. They visited the guild. Surprised, the clerk questioned their purpose. Loran spoke calmly. Mei Li would register today. Despite her size, the system allowed it. Paperwork began. Her dream was becoming real. Mei Li filled the form carefully, her small hands gripping the pen. A loud examiner appeared, boasting confidently. He warned her there'd be no mercy. She stood silently, eyes focused, heart steady. The examiner boasted again, claiming his harshness a kindness. Loran's group walked silently behind him, unimpressed. Amusement flickered. Though loud and cocky, he had no idea who Mei Li truly was becoming. Loran handed her a concealed weapon, nothing flashy, but sharp enough. His advice was simple: remember your training. Mei Li nodded, stepped forward and faced the examiner, determined to prove herself worthy. The signal was given. Mei Li darted in first, blade hidden. The examiner lunged with power, but she moved fast, precise, her eyes locked forward. She remembered her training, no hesitation now. Backslash, she cried, striking with confidence. Again and again, she aimed with precision. The examiner staggered, overwhelmed. Laughter echoed from the sidelines. Mei Li, relentless, kept hitting right where it hurt most. Despite her low magic score, her spirit shone. She'd passed with flying colors. Praise followed cheers. That night, they celebrated her victory. She was no longer training, she was adventuring now. Dressed neatly, Mei Li admired her reflection with awe. Layla's gentle hands finished her look. For a moment, emotions swelled, nervous, excited. Something about today felt different. A new chapter awaited. Meili dashed into town, eager to begin. Her voice rang with excitement. She wanted a quest. But Loran reminded her F rank held no battles. Still, her energy never dimmed. Suddenly, armored knights burst through the guild doors. Their target was clear. Meili's eyes widened. Loran's hand twitched instinctively. Questions hung in the air. What did Lord Baladel want with her? The knights claimed Meili belonged to Lord Baladel. She clung tighter to safety, but a hand lunged. Fear surged. She cried out, resisting. This wasn't a quest, this was danger. Layla's fury erupted. Her voice thundered as she confronted the armored men. Still, they drew weapons. The knights insisted orders were orders. They would take Meili back, by force if needed. Loran stepped forward, calm and unimpressed. A single strike shattered the knight's stance. His words cut deeper than steel. He was no mere staff, he was a legend hiding in plain sight. Loran's quiet defiance turned violent. Another knight fell. Whispers spread. Rebellion, they called it, but he stood unwavering. Protecting Meili wasn't treason, it was justice. The knights couldn't comprehend who they'd provoked. The true lord arrived, oozing arrogance. Loran chuckled at the death threats, eyes narrowed. The room shifted. Everyone knew now this wasn't just about a child, it was about power. The lord's advances turned vile. But Layla stood firm, claiming Meili as her own. Her slap silenced the room. One truth rang out, only Loran could stand beside her. Loran spoke with deliberate calm, invoking a name from Baladel's past. Recognition drained the noble's face. The staff wasn't just guild help, he was the shadow from 6 years ago. Loran offered mercy on one condition: return now, and secrets stay buried. Baladel buckled instantly, his pride shattered. Layla held Meili close, watching the once powerful lord grovel for silence. Terror replaced arrogance, Baladel begged, trembling. Loran pressed calmly for answers. The knights scattered. Layla and Meili stood tall. The girl was safe for now, but darker truths still lingered outside. The man reported all he knew. Lord Baladel, drenched in sweat, nodded quickly. Offering hollow favors, he retreated in disgrace. Loran declined them all, he'd already made his stance clear. The town buzzed with awe. Meili clutched her cloak tighter. Loran gently calmed her. Everything's all right now. To others, he was strange. To her, he was her protector. The day resumed. Meili's heart beat steady again. When asked about the quest, she smiled bright. Yup, the shadow lifted. This was her choice. Her journey was only beginning. Under the quiet moonlight, Loran revealed the truth. Meili was a lost princess from the fallen kingdom, Badenhark. Found alone, without memory, her past had been buried by war and ruin. Layla's gaze softened. She asked if anyone might still wait for Meili. Loran replied, maybe King Randolph. Hope lingered. A forgotten bloodline stirred. Their next journey was just beginning. Meili's memories began to return in fragments. Gentle voices, warm hands, familiar faces. A mansion stood clear in her thoughts. It was once her home, a place long lost. She remembered them, her smiling mother, kind father, siblings full of life. But those faces faded into darkness. Shadows had taken everything. Her family was gone. Only she had survived. Left in silence, she drifted into confusion. Her heart ached, her thoughts tangled. Nothing made sense anymore until a quiet voice called to her. And in that moment, light returned. Meili woke suddenly, the room dim and silent. A faint glow caught her eye. Drawn by instinct, she stepped out of bed and quietly made her way through the hall. She hesitated at the door, unsure, then softly knocked. A familiar voice welcomed her. Without explanation, she slipped into the room, seeking comfort. He offered space beside him, and she nodded. In quiet warmth, she found peace again. Nestled close, she slowly relaxed. But beside them, Layla frowned, her own plans now ruined, watching the two bond as morning quietly approached. Meili woke from a restless sleep, eyes wide with fear. Something felt wrong. She rose quietly, drawn to the silence. Her footsteps echoed faintly as she crept through the dark hall. She hesitated at Loran's door, unsure of what she wanted. He noticed and asked gently. Without a word, she climbed into his bed, finding comfort in the presence she trusted most. Layla joined them, curling around Meili protectively. Loran stayed still, letting the moments settle. Meili's fears faded in the warmth of their closeness, held between two people who had become home. She awakened suddenly, the silence pressing in. Memories flickered like lanterns in fog. Familiar garments hung near, a soft glow on the desk. She rose, heart restless, feet moving quietly. She tiptoed to his door, uncertain. Her knock was soft, hesitating. He sat up, surprised. Her excuse was simple, her eyes distant. He welcomed her back, warmth waiting under covers. Cradled gently between them, she sighed with ease. Their embrace shielded the night. She relaxed, eyelids heavy. Around her, safety formed like a cocoon. The warmth she lost had returned. He recalled soft moments, the warmth of her hands, the cat's purring, quiet talks with Loran. In that mansion, something stirred. That place wasn't just familiar, it was home once. Faces returned. A mother with gentle eyes, a father full of laughter, siblings who filled the halls. Then darkness came. The warmth faded. The ones he loved were gone. Alone in confusion, he stared into the void. Pain clouded meaning. Just as despair took hold, someone called out. A voice pulled him back, grounding him in the present again. Mei woke in the quiet room, heart heavy. She glanced at the glowing pendant, then rose from bed. Silently, she tiptoed through the hallway, heading to his room again. Reaching the door, Mei paused briefly, unsure. She knocked, and Loran welcomed her with concern. Without a word, she climbed into bed beside him, silently seeking the comfort he offered. Held gently, Mei relaxed in Loran's arms. Layla peeked out, visibly displeased. Her quiet plan for the night disrupted, she sighed, realizing Mei's bond with Loran ran deeper than expected. As night fell, Loran lay beside Mei, and Layla, though he would depart tomorrow, their shared warmth and quiet presence reminded him what peace truly meant beyond his shadowed past. Morning came. Layla saw Mei off to the guild while finishing chores. Loran, now far away, stirred King Randolph, seeking answers about a royal bloodline hidden in chaos. With confirmation from Randolph, Loran ensured Mei's mother received his message. He returned quietly. Soon Mei would reunite with her mother, but parting from Layla stirred emotions she wasn't ready to face. Mei looked up, eyes wide, memories flooding back. Her mother stood before her, alive. The pain of separation faded. From a distance, the man watched, knowing everything had changed now. Tears streamed as Mei collapsed into her mother's arms. Years of longing, fear, and doubt melted away. She clung tightly, her heart finally at peace in her mother's embrace again. Her mother offered thanks, apologizing for her lack of gifts. He declined, content with Mei's happiness. As the carriage waited, Mei turned back, eyes heavy, ready to say goodbye. Alias stared at the woman before her. Fragments of forgotten memories flooded back, warmth, lullabies, the scent of home. Her eyes widened. The name Mother escaped her lips, softly, knowingly. Tears streamed as Alias collapsed into her mother's embrace. Years of separation melted away. Each sob stitched the torn pieces of her heart. Layla and Loran watched silently, deeply moved. With heartfelt thanks, her mother stepped away. Alias turned for one last look. Her time here had changed her. She smiled grateful, brave before running into the future she'd finally reclaimed. Lin startled the bedridden man awake, reminding him of a long-overdue debt. Calmly, he stated his purpose, to repay kindness received, not as an assassin, but a normal man. The king proposed a favor in return. His daughter, the princess, was heartbroken after losing someone dear. Her sorrow traced back to a promise one made to live together post-war. Lin learned he was the one she awaited. Though he denied any promise, duty outweighed doubt. Royalty and normalcy clashed, but to him, a debt, emotional or not, must always be paid. Loran listens as the truth unfolds. He never remembered a promise, but her sorrow proved it. Her grief came from his absence, and a suggestion rises, let her believe he's dead. He agrees to learn the magic. Real nightmare was the key to free her heart. Loran absorbs the spell with eerie speed, impressing even the demon lord with his talent. Mastering the illusion, Loran casts real nightmare without hesitation. Shadows swirl, reality bends. Her eyes widen under the spell. He speaks the command, he is her master, and she shall obey. He unleashed the illusion magic, real nightmare, forcing her into a loyal trance. Eyes gleaming, she pounced like a dog, utterly convinced of her new role beside her master. Overwhelmed by the spell's hypnosis, she licked and kissed him obediently. He lifted the trance with a touch. Realizing the humiliation, her anger erupted, vengeful and embarrassed beyond words. Ignoring her fury, he calmly kissed her and promised to return. Cloaked in silence, he departed. She watched, cheeks burning, clinging to his final words like a tethered heartbeat. Loran resumed his quiet guild routine, exchanging coins and papers. The hall buzzed with adventurers, yet something felt distant. Even the black cat, alert as always, sensed the subtle change. A colleague noticed Loran's withdrawn mood, asking gently if it was Mei's absence. Loran, unsure of his feelings, admitted an emptiness, like something vital had gone missing from his life. Mei's cheerful memory flickered in his mind as her words echoed through the air. The cat understood first, then Loran did too. The ache he felt was loneliness. Laurent continued his daily tasks at the guild, suppressing a hollow ache. His co-worker noticed the change. When asked, he struggled to describe it, only that something dear had vanished. He thought of Meili, remembering her cheerful farewell. Loneliness crept in quietly. Her absence left silence behind. A cat watched quietly, sensing the weight of unspoken sorrow fill the room. Just as he tried to settle into routine, noise erupted outside. Almeria stormed in, armored and determined, ignoring his disguise. The spell had failed, fate had brought her back to him. Almeria awoke from tears, whispering his name into the night. A shadow moved past the curtains. Her heart pounded, unsure if it was a dream or something more hauntingly real. Laurent cast the illusion gently. His false words sank into her heart, declaring his death in battle. Her tears fell, clinging to memories and promises she thought they'd live to fulfill. He held her softly, granting the kiss he once promised. Silently he turned away. Watching her sleep with a smile, he vanished beneath the moon, leaving only peace and whispered prayers. Laurent continued handling paperwork quietly. The guild bustled with adventurers while a sharp sense of presence crawled into the building. He noticed a shift. The atmosphere felt oddly unnatural, almost ominous. A thunderous entrance disrupted the guild. Princess Almeria stormed in, shouting for Laurent. She was loud, confident, determined to apply as an adventurer. Laurent denied her directly, hiding behind polite protocol. Confused and emotional, Almeria demanded an explanation. Laurent refused again, reasoning her duty as princess outweighed her wish. Their awkward tension grew while gossip spread. Almeria's frustration deepened, her voice trembling. Laurent quietly processed guild tasks, hiding his thoughts behind routine. His calm demeanor masked a stirring ache. Amid the adventurers' chatter, memories of Meili's departure lingered, haunting his otherwise silent workspace. His colleague noticed the change, his dull gaze, the pauses. She asked gently. Laurent admitted the emptiness Meili left behind. Not grief, not despair, just a hollow space longing for warmth. She smiled sadly, calling it loneliness. The cat beside them, eerily perceptive, echoed the emotion. Laurent understood then not the pain of loss, but the quiet ache of being left. Laurent worked quietly, filing reports beside his guildmate. A sudden chill crept in as someone slammed open the door. Alerted, he glanced up, his instincts screaming. Something ominous had just arrived. The bustling guild hall erupted. Princess Almeria stormed in, demanding Laurent's presence. Her bold arrival stunned everyone. Laurent, hiding behind glasses, denied knowing her, but she called out, determined to confront him. Denied entry, Almeria protested loudly. Laurent stayed firm, questioning her motives. As emotions flared, her heart slipped out, tears forming. She remembered promises. He had meant something. Laurent, silent, began to understand. Almeria awoke from a dream, sensing someone beyond her curtains. The moonlight cast shadows. Her heart raced. She called out. A familiar figure stepped forward. Laurent, the man believed dead. Laurent gently told her the truth: he had died once. His illusion faded as she cried, reminding him of their promise. Her grief overflowed. His silence confessed everything left unspoken. He kissed her as promised, then turned to leave under the moonlight. Watching him vanish, Almeria held back tears. Farewell, he said softly, never turning back. She whispered, Laurent. Almeria stomped away furiously, her pride wounded by Laurent's harsh judgment. Around her, townspeople watched in silence. She yelled promises of return, unable to suppress her frustration and unspoken feelings. She mounted her horse with one last glare, vowing to return stronger. Laurent remained silent as the crowd murmured. Despite her humiliation, her determination ignited something unseen in him. Back at the guild, a girl curiously asked about their past. Laurent smiled faintly, reminiscing. He spoke of their shared journey, the battles and bonds forged while fighting the demon lord. Laurent revealed he was once Almeria's tutor, surprising the others. Their admiration amused him, but the unexpected title unsettled him. Memories of their past surfaced, more complicated than they remembered. Laurent began his morning reviewing a pile of guild paperwork. Though quiet, his presence was dependable. A co-worker asked him to manage the front desk instead. His calm often diffused disputes. Standing at the reception, Laurent calmly called the next person. His cold expression didn't faze the adventurers. Despite his hidden past, he now served simply, processing requests with quiet diligence. A nervous young adventurer approached, seeking a quest. Recognizing Laurent from stories, he confirmed the name. Laurent nodded. Though legendary, he answered gently, just another guild worker helping the next hopeful dreamer. Laurent began his morning routine sorting paperwork, calm and efficient. Despite the usual chaos, his quiet presence kept the guild steady. Today, he was asked to manage the front desk. Standing behind the counter, Loran calmly greeted adventurers. One timid young man approached, stammering. Surprised by Loran's reputation, he asked for a quest. Loran's reputation had clearly spread through the guild. The boy, relieved, accepted Loran's quest advice with gratitude. Though anxious about injury, he trusted Loran's judgment. Encouraged, he left smiling, ready to face danger with quiet confidence and a safe plan. Everly stepped forward, her voice unwavering as she requested a harder quest. Argan reviewed the listings, finding one suitable but needing another member. He confirmed the conditions and took note. Everly accepted the quest eagerly. She was soon introduced to her party, two F-ranked adventurers, Uno and Atro. Though determined, concerns over their team's strength started to surface among them. Apprehension spread as doubts were voiced. Argan calmly assessed their worries. Without hesitation, he handed desk duty to his colleague and guided the uncertain party aside to offer support directly. Argan gathered the three rookies outside. Calmly, he explained their weaknesses. The party lacked trust, experience, and teamwork. Despite their protests, he offered to train them briefly before the real mission began. When they challenged his authority, Argan summoned small shadow creatures. The team panicked, unsure if it was real combat or a lesson. The creatures moved in with unpredictable speed and force. Chaos broke out. Uno was hit first, Atro lost her weapon, and Everly screamed as her skirt flipped. Argan laughed dryly, watching their disarray unfold exactly as he expected. Argan arrived early, greeted by morning sun and towering paperwork. Calm and efficient, he was quickly reassigned to the front desk. His composure made him perfect for handling difficult visitors. Taking his post with quiet resolve, Argan began serving adventurers. His reputation spread silently, dependable, precise. As lines grew, whispers followed. Many trusted him without knowing why. He made things work. A nervous young adventurer approached, clutching hope and doubt. Recognizing Argan, she asked for a quest. His presence reassured her. Without flair or fame, Argan had already begun changing lives. Neil stood behind the guild counter, calmly explaining quest safety. The young adventurer listened intently, requesting something that matched his skills. Neil nodded, quietly reaching for a suitable recommendation scroll. After scanning the quest, the adventurer's eyes lit up. Relief softened his anxious thoughts. This one seemed manageable. Yet deep inside, he feared injury. No money meant no meals tomorrow. Neil reassured him gently, approving the paperwork. With a grateful smile, the adventurer accepted. His heart pounded, not from fear but hope. Today, he'd fight not for glory, but for survival. Everly, determined to grow, approached the counter seeking a harder quest. Despite her low rank, she volunteered to join a mission needing one more member. The guild clerk hesitated briefly. Everly met her new teammates, F-ranked adventurers, Uno and Atro. Though the group lacked experience, they were united by ambition. Nervous doubts surfaced, but the clerk offered unexpected personal guidance. The clerk declared them weak and unfit, then summoned shadow creatures to test them. Unprepared, they were quickly overwhelmed. Their failures laid bare, yet it marked the beginning of change. The clerk, seeing their weak coordination, decided to train them. He bluntly called them unfit for their quest, stating they lacked teamwork and would surely become liabilities in battle. Despite their protests, he summoned strange shadow creatures. The group panicked at the small dark beings, shocked by his magic. Doubt began to creep in as reality crushed their pride. The shadows swiftly overwhelmed them. One was punched, another humiliated. Their resistance collapsed in moments. Watching their defeat, the clerk scoffed coldly, reminding them just how far they were from ready. She slammed the shovel into the concrete, shocking even herself. The ground split with ease, like soft pudding. Surprised by its power, she began to question her underestimated skill. The guild clerk calmly explained its potential. Forts, shelters, and walls could be formed with soil. Her eyes lit up, realizing the value hidden within what others mocked as a missed skill. Inspired, she decided to retake the test in another guild. Encouraged by his support, her doubt faded. With a new outlook and purpose, she thanked him and ran off determined. She struck the ground with the shovel, surprising even herself as it pierced straight through the stone. Shocked, she realized this lame skill could be useful with the right approach. The clerk explained its broader use. Tunnels, barriers, safety shelters, all achievable with creativity. Her eyes lit up with hope. For the first time, her missed skill felt meaningful. Inspired, she decided to retake the test elsewhere. The clerk encouraged her path, watching her leave with a knowing smile. Her journey as an adventurer had truly begun. She slammed the shovel into the ground, and the pavement cracked like thin ice. Shocked by its power, she realized it wasn't lame, it had real strength hidden beneath its simplicity. He explained how digging could save lives in wild terrain. Her view changed. She saw her niche skill differently now, something adaptable, something useful. Her heart filled with new determination. Inspired, she planned to retake the test with confidence. The clerk's advice opened a path she hadn't seen. With a bright smile, she thanked him and ran forward anew. The clerk sent the adventurer off, offering him good luck. Loran had grown confident. Morley shrugged off the praise, but Milia questioned the bias, fueling a friendly workplace rivalry. Morley insisted on his popularity, but Milia's blunt honesty shattered his claim. Despite their banter, they resumed work. Lauren quietly observed, noting their balance had improved through their constant clashes. Excused for a break, Lauren wandered the hall. A curious presence stirred as he picked something up. In silence, he sensed something unknown. An unusual figure shimmered into the shadows nearby. The shovel shattered stone like paper, stunning the girl. The clerk affirmed its value. She blushed, unsure. Still, the weapon obeyed her. Even pudding like concrete wasn't a match. The clerk calmly explained the shovel's hidden worth. With clever use, even weak skills could shine. Inspiration lit her eyes. Creativity, not strength, was the real power here. Realizing the spotlight that unusual weapons might bring, panic followed the 6-month delay. Gratefully, she accepted advice to join another guild's test. Her excitement surged. A new chance awaited. Loran quietly accepted the praise and news of bonuses. His guidance had turned weak adventurers into reliable fighters. He remained expressionless, hiding the pride that flickered behind his calm gaze. Iris admired his success and proposed dinner. Loran, deflecting politely, excused himself to care for his cat. Her frustration simmered while Milia shouted work talk was for work hours only. Before he could leave, Iris declared her true intention. She offered him a new position, full-time examiner. Loran paused mid-step, surprised. Test examiner? He echoed, the hallway now utterly still. Loran walked quietly through the town, his usual pace quick and composed. Milia caught up, cheerful and insistent. She held out a bottle wrapped in ribbon, her way of celebrating his promotion. Though hesitant, Loran agreed to the celebration, caught off guard by the idea of something so normal. Milia beamed. It wasn't just about the party, it was about making him smile. As they walked together, staff reactions echoed around them. Loran's swift promotion raised eyebrows, but Milia defended him. His evaluations were fair, even the manager's reports praised him. He'd earned this trust. Milia called out to Loran in the bustling street, her hands full with a celebratory gift. She congratulated him warmly, proud of his new position as the full-time test examiner. Though hesitant, Loran agreed to celebrate after Milia insisted it was the normal thing to do. Her cheerfulness softened his resolve, making him question what normal really meant. As they walked, Milia explained how everyone supported the decision. Though Morley objected, the branch manager confirmed Loran's evaluations were fair, earning trust quickly, even after just 2 months at the guild. Milia caught up with Loran in the crowded street, eager to celebrate his promotion. With bright eyes and a wrapped bottle in hand, she planned a surprise to lift his mood. Despite his hesitation, Milia insisted celebration was normal. Loran gave in, masking surprise with quiet acceptance. Her cheerfulness hid a clever scheme she knew, saying normal made him agree to anything. Walking side by side, Milia explained everyone's shock at Loran's quick rise. Though objections rang out, others defended his fairness. Her smile widened, proud to walk with him towards something bigger. Milia rushed to catch up with Loran, calling out through the busy street. With a bright smile, she presented a celebratory gift recognizing his promotion to full-time test examiner. Though hesitant, Loran gave in as Milia insisted celebration was normal. Her cheerful spirit softened his reluctance, leading him to quietly accept. She smiled, realizing how easily he complied. They walked together through town as Milia explained everyone's excitement. Despite objections, the guild supported his role. Others vouched for his fairness, silencing doubts and affirming his worth. Milia cheerfully greeted Loran in the town, surprising him with a gift. She insisted on celebrating his promotion, thrilled about his achievement, and eager to share the moment with him. Though hesitant at first, Loran gave in to Milia's enthusiasm. Her excitement softened his resistance, and her clever reasoning convinced him that normal celebrations were a part of life. As they walked together, Milia explained how Loran's dedication earned everyone's trust. Despite complaints, others acknowledged his fairness. Loran remained humble, attributing everything to others, still unaware of his quiet influence. Loran's presence subtly changed the guild's mood. Adventurers showed more respect, quests were handled sincerely, and Neil's growth proved it. Milia admired Loran, feeling pride as others recognized his influence. Walking together, Melia beamed under the fading sun. She celebrated Laurent's achievements like her own, claiming seniority with a grin. Their bond deepened as they strolled peacefully toward the celebration. Curious about the destination, Laurent questioned her. Melia cheerfully revealed the surprise his house was the venue. Realization dawned, she'd orchestrated a gathering. Embarrassed, she insisted it was completely normal. Iris arrived at the quiet countryside home, her hands trembling as she clutched the gift. The path ahead was clear, yet her heart raced as memories returned. Meeting Laurent face to face, she offered the gift with effort masked in a smile. His confusion and casual remarks pierced her, but she steadied herself, pretending nothing was unusual. A voice called from above Orawa welcomed Laurent warmly, curious about his unexpected guests. Iris followed inside, and with poise introduced herself as a branch manager of the Adventurers Guild. After the others fell asleep, Laurent remained. A soft glance was shared, then a quiet approach. Words weren't needed. In that calm night, two hearts drew close in silence. Laurent gently approached Layla's bedside, checking her condition. She stirred weakly, asking for comfort. He offered food and care, worried about her sudden fatigue, uncertain if something more serious was wrong. Though hesitant, Layla whispered her suspicions, unsure of their cause. She dismissed the thought, asking instead for a kiss. Laurent complied, silently understanding her need for reassurance more than answers. Outside, Iris expressed disbelief at Layla's weakness. Laurent sought advice on healing meals, suggesting porridge. Amid questions and concern from others, he remained calm, focused on helping her recover properly. After hearing how vulnerable people become when sick, Laurent decides to prioritize Layla's recovery. Encouraged by the guild girl's words, he chooses to be more present, taking leave from work. Laurent reflects on the limitations of human doctors. Returning to the house with quiet resolve, he walks through the stillness, noticing something unsettling about the silence in Layla's room. Inside, Laurent finds Layla missing. Her cloak lies discarded by the bed. A chill creeps in as he shuts the door, his expression turning sharp, instincts on high alert again. Layla rested in bed, her face pale but peaceful. He watched over her silently, leaving food beside her. When she spoke weakly, concern flickered in his eyes, unsure yet attentive. She hinted at a cause behind her illness, hesitating with uncertainty. He accepted it without pressure. Her sudden request for affection broke the tension. He responded calmly, gently, fulfilling her wish. Later, at work, he sought advice on caring for the sick. Suggestions of porridge floated in. Amid concern, his thoughts lingered on her recovery, heart quietly burdened with growing care. Laurent stepped cautiously into the forest, tracing the trail of fading magic. A powerful figure emerged, an elf, watching him with sharp eyes. She realized someone had been following her. Tension rose as the elf recognized Laurent as a human. She warned him not to speak of Layla so casually. Laurent, calm and firm, demanded answers about Layla's whereabouts. Her temper flared, magic swirling violently. She shouted, unleashing an attack. Laurent, unmoved, stood firm. Despite the aggression, she thanked him sincerely for protecting Layla. He responded without hesitation, no problem. Layla woke weak in bed, draped in silence. He sat beside her, offering food and care. Though her voice was faint, she tried to speak of her worsening condition. Layla hesitated, unsure whether to share her fear. She whispered suspicions about her body. Her request for a kiss broke the tension, and their moment deepened with warmth and quiet trust. The next day, surprise spread among the guild staff. No one expected her illness. Amid the questions, he focused, learning what food might help because caring was more than duty now. Outmatched and frustrated, the dark elf planted her blade with fury. Glaring through tears, she clenched her teeth. Suddenly, he stood before her calm, composed, and simply said, "Hey." Before she could react, his blow landed cleanly. Dizzy and stumbling, she dropped back. He turned, locating his real target through the woods. "There she is," he muttered. Aware of the threat she posed, he neutralized her without injury. At her side, Layla lay hidden beneath layers of concealment. With a whisper, he uttered the spell, "Dispel." Laurent walked through town quietly until a cheerful voice called him. He turned to see a girl rushing up, clutching a wrapped gift. She smiled, eyes sparkling with joy. She insisted they celebrate his promotion, calling it a normal thing. Though reluctant, Laurent gave in, letting her excitement guide him. Her happiness lit up the quiet streets around them. As they walked, she explained how shocked everyone was by his rapid promotion. Doubts lingered among staff, but reports praised his fairness. She beamed proudly, walking beside him without pause. Laurent began his morning sorting documents, quietly efficient as always. His colleague redirected him to the front desk, trusting his calm nature to handle disputes between adventurers arriving throughout the day. Taking his new position, Laurent called out to the next adventurer. The guild bustled around him, unaware the quiet staff member was actually a legendary assassin hiding in plain sight. A nervous young adventurer approached, requesting a quest. Recognizing Laurent's name, he confirmed his identity, surprised by how accurately he matched Neil's description, unaware of the powerful secrets behind that composed exterior. Rosie discovered the queen had faked her death. With radicals planning war, she stayed silent, hoping peace would last. But unrest brewed, and she knew a declaration was needed urgently. The radicals gathered strength, hiding on a remote island. Their leader, Corneliu Vasri, prepared to march. Though exhausted, his men burned for vengeance. Rosie watched, troubled by the enemy's growing ambition. Humans believed the war had ended, but demons had only retreated. Rosie recalled their invasion, the conquest of kingdoms, and the fall of Jorvensen. Their return loomed deadlier, darker, and inevitable. Despite her disappearance, Layla's loyal subordinate suspected the demon lord still lived. Though silent, she watched radicals stir. To prevent another war, she resolved to reveal the truth herself. Corneliu, a fearsome commander, rallied radical forces in secret. While humans believed peace reigned, the demons planned revenge. Layla, hidden among allies, uncovered their location and warned of the impending threat. As humans claimed victory, remnants of demons still circled the castle. The coalition became the security force. Layla's presence sparked conflict, but she vowed to end it as demon lord. He stood firm before her, promising protection no matter the enemy. Even as the world turned against Layla, he would face kingdoms alone. Her heart trembled at his resolve. Guided through moonlit woods, the group approached a hidden transfer gate. Only the demon lord could use it for armies. With tension rising, strategy became crucial before war returned. They neared the hut concealing the gate. As the weight of 2,000 enemies loomed, they debated options. Destroying the exit wouldn't suffice. Time ran out, diplomacy or destruction awaited. The group arrives at the teleportation site, only to find it shattered. Confusion spreads fast. Lauren senses something isn't right, his instincts whispering that the enemy moved ahead of them. Under the moonlight, a childlike figure greets Rosie, her tone sharp. Suspicion thickens in the air. Lauren narrows his eyes. Someone dangerous knows they're here and isn't happy about it. DeLakers arrived with eerie calm, her gaze challenging. Tensions rose as accusations flew. Rosie demanded answers about the destroyed gate. Yet DeLakers only smirked, insisting her question be answered first. Silence thickened. Layla declared her identity, pleading to speak with Corneliu. DeLakers, shaken, confessed Corneliu had perished. Grief overwhelmed her, tears breaking through her control. Hope turned fragile under the truth's heavy weight. Despite Layla's plea, DeLakers erupted, shouting in denial. She refused to accept Mao's return, her anger boiling into chaos. Words meant nothing now. What mattered was power, pain, and unspoken fury. The gate was already destroyed when they arrived. Suspicion stirred among them. Lauren remained calm, studying the scene. Something felt deliberately wrong, too early, too precise. He sensed a hidden hand. Above the hill, a vampire girl appeared beneath the full moon, mocking their presence. Her eyes narrowed at Rosie, questioning her loyalty. The tension deepened. An unseen enemy had arrived. Rosie's anger exploded as she shouted the enemy's true name. The girl stayed still, demanding answers. Accusations echoed. But Lauren watched quietly, weighing intentions, preparing for what would come next. As the dragon's furious breath roared across the battlefield, Rosie and the others barely raised a shield in time. Confusion spread. DeLakers demanded answers, unaware the human had already vanished. Amid the chaos, the dragon's gaze scanned for the human. Suspicion turned to disbelief as Lauren reappeared midair, positioning himself silently above the beast's exposed core, ready to strike. With calm precision, Lauren conjured a glowing sigil in his hand. Everyone watched, stunned. The dragon froze. Time seemed to slow as he prepared to unleash his hidden technique. The dragon's eye widened in shock as the tiny flame pierced its core. With a swift leap, the assassin closed distance, aiming directly at its magic seal. A chain of violent explosions erupted within the beast. The assassin launched away just in time, landing as the dragon crashed down. The battle had reached its decisive end. With calm steps, he rejoined the others. DeLakers collapsed unconscious. He explained the trick: dragon breath's unstable seal. One flaw, one spark, and it collapses. They were stunned by his precision. They gathered under the moonlight, uncertain of the next step. With magic too low, they debated travel. Yet Lauren offered a solution, calmly suggesting a precise gate spell using Rosie's anchor. Despite doubts and tension, Lauren cast the spell. The gate shimmered into life, anchored far but stable. While others watched stunned, even Rosie had to acknowledge his effortless control and precision. As the portal stabilized, the group stepped forward. Praise echoed behind them, and even the proud demon shed tears. United in purpose, they vanished toward their next unknown, yet shared, destination. A massive dragon descended, blocking their escape route. Its roar shattered the silence, warning the trio not to proceed. Without hesitation, they stood their ground, eyes locked on the beast. The dragon unleashed a devastating breath, but Rosie shielded the group just in time. The man assessed the enemy's breath pattern, whispering instructions. A counterattack was quietly set in motion. As flames roared, the man vanished from sight. In a blink, he reappeared midair, flames on his fingertip. With pinpoint precision, he launched it at the dragon's core. The dragon's fury shook the battlefield, but within the flames, a protective barrier held firm. Hidden inside, Loran prepared. The enemies searched in confusion, unaware the assassin had already moved. Loran struck from above, piercing the dragon's blind spot. Shock lit its eyes as he conjured a magical glyph mid-air. In one blink he vanished from their sights again. A glowing seal embedded in the dragon's chest ignited. Loran unleashed a precision flame, targeting the breath core. Explosions followed, and he leapt free, landing as smoke swallowed the beast. Loran launched himself toward the dragon's open mouth, bypassing its defenses with speed honed through countless battles. A sealing magic circle detonated on impact, disorienting the beast instantly. The explosion engulfed the dragon's throat, forcing it to collapse. Loran leapt free from the rubble as the others arrived, stunned at the monster's sudden defeat by such precise force. With calm composure, Loran rejoined his team. His explanation was brief, revealing the dragon's inner weakness. The group stared, speechless, at the ruined enemy, while admiration and disbelief filled the air. The crowd stirred as the girl stepped forward, revealing herself as the true demon lord. Gasps echoed. Her companion declared her legitimacy. At last, hope flickered through the confused army. She urged them to end the bloodshed and return home, her voice calm. But uncertainty rose. Some hesitated, whispering doubts, confused by her plea. Could their demon lord truly surrender? A challenger roared, denying her identity. The army murmured. No magic could be felt. Faces turned suspicious. Yet she smiled quietly, hiding strength. Eyes locked. The next move would decide everything. Rosie's deception is exposed by the enraged commander. Ignoring protests, he rallies the demon army. Fueled by vengeance, they roar their loyalty and vow to reclaim the demon lord's castle. Realizing the army's next target, Layla panics Badenhark, where her friend lives. She pleads to stop the assault, but the commander challenges his troops to prove their strength through conquest. The army erupts in chants, drowning out Layla's desperate cries. Her voice fades beneath the bloodlust. The march begins, her warnings unanswered. As war tramples reason under thunderous loyalty, Layla remained still, eyes firm, though the crowd roared below. Rosie stood by, unsure. The demon army's chants grew louder, drowning her plea. The queen had yet to respond. Layla rose, voice shaking the ground. She revealed her mastery of the forbidden skill, instant death. Shock spread. Even allies flinched. Her strength no longer required magic, only resolve. Corneliu mocked her claim, but Layla stood firm, giving her final warning. The army ignored her, choosing vengeance over retreat. Her command had failed, conflict loomed, and war surged forward. She raised her hand gently, recalling his loyalty. Yet, his defiance sealed his fate. The others watched as the demon queen prepared her final judgment, tension thick in the air. Without mercy, her power struck. Corneliu fell, pierced by the very blades he once wielded. Her goodbye was calm, but her heart carried the weight of necessary justice. Silence turned to horror. His body crashed below. Allies trembled, stunned by her overwhelming might. The legend of the demon queen's new power had only just begun to echo. The crowd trembled in silence. Whispers of doubt turned to awe as the woman's gaze froze the air. Her presence alone silenced all. Was this truly the demon lord reborn? Without hesitation, she roared her command. Defiance meant death. The memory of Corneliu's fall lingered. Her power unquestioned, her order absolute. None dared to move. The bluff had become reality. The portal shimmered to life. Soldiers, once driven by wrath, now stepped forward with purpose. Their journey home had begun. Beneath the moon, the last echo of war faded. The crowd slowly dispersed after witnessing the display of overwhelming power. She stood calmly above them, unshaken. Whispers spread, was she truly the demon lord? Her aura silenced all doubt. Her voice thundered across the cliff. She demanded obedience and warned of death. The army hesitated, fear gripping them. A portal shimmered behind, ready to send them back in shame. As moonlight bathed the cliffs, magic unfolded, the spell to retreat activated, shimmering wide. One glance at her command sealed their choice. The demon army began vanishing into the night. The elf scorned the boy's place beside Layla, declaring her years of loyalty unmatched. She prepared to boast of their shared past, while the boy watched the retreat unfold below. As they stood in the moonlit plain, she praised Layla's terrifying skill death by a single word. She warned him coldly. Layla's favor was fleeting. He said nothing in return. Curious, he asked about Layla's origin. She revealed the Demon Lord's title wasn't inherited, yet Layla was still the daughter of the last. Her stare held lingering pride and challenge. The elf defended her bond with the Demon Lord, recounting years of hardship and trust. She began telling stories of loyalty, unaware of the retreating troops slowly vanishing behind them. He listened silently, impressed by the Demon Lord's power. A skill that killed with one word was terrifying. But behind strength, he sensed danger if her loyalty ever shifted. Curious, he asked why an elf supported the Demon Lord. Her answer revealed lineage, not inheritance, led to the title. She was the daughter of the last Demon King. While the elf boasted of her past with the Demon Lord, he remained calm, quietly observing. As she spoke, he sensed retreating forces. The night's silence masked their shifting alliances. The conversation shifted to Layla's terrifying power, deadly and costly. He listened, expression unreadable. As praise turned to warning, doubt crept in. He wondered if loyalty masked a deeper fear of her. Curiosity overtook him. He questioned the elf's loyalty, probing the past. Her answer revealed lineage, but her gaze hinted at pain. The Demon Lord's legacy, it seemed, carried weight beyond blood. Layla, weak yet trying to smile, reassures them she's not badly hurt. Her embarrassed demeanor amuses Rosie. Meanwhile, she wonders aloud if the truth would make him hate her forever. Clearing the room with a signal, he sits beside her. Layla struggles to speak, blushing. Her words falter, but he leans in patiently, urging her to reveal her hidden worry. Tension rises as he misreads her hesitation, fearing she's gravely ill. Alarmed, he asks again. She panics, shouting a flustered denial. Whatever truth she holds back, it's not what he feared. Layla, red-faced and teary, confessed her sickness came from testing rare ingredients for him. She had only wanted to surprise him. Her honesty broke the tension in the room. Relieved, he smiled and assured her she was okay. Though immune due to his training, he explained others might not be. Her guilt softened when he gently reassured her again. She smiled, touched by his kindness. He acknowledged her fear of being hated, then patted her head. "Try again any time," he said. Her heart quietly fluttered with warmth and peace. Laurent embraced Layla gently, easing her lingering fears. As Rosie barged in, startled, he received a strange gift, a special digestive medicine, courtesy of the ever-watchful village doctor. Amid grateful farewells, they accepted the herbs and medicine. The doctor offered future help if needed. With unfinished business, Rosie departed for the demon realm, leaving a quiet promise behind. Laurent activated a portal, securing instant access to the doctor's aid. As light filled the room, he and Layla stood ready, stronger and closer, prepared for what may come next. Laurent listened quietly as the warrior explained Layla's condition. Though surprised by her sudden weakness, he showed no hesitation. With firm resolve, he prepared to visit her, concern growing within. Upon arrival, Laurent and Rosie found the doctor calm, yet uncertain. Doubts lingered about Layla's identity. They rushed to her bedside, unsure of what awaited beyond the silent door. Inside, Layla lay resting. Laurent's expression softened as he approached. Rosie's voice trembled as she asked about her well-being. Laurent, calm but alert, gently called out to her for answers. Laurent listened silently as she spoke with tears in her eyes. Her dream of bearing his child moved her. Despite everything, she felt warmth in his quiet, accepting embrace. He met her gaze and smiled. Society may call him abnormal, but with her, he found a reason to dream. Together, they'd build the life others claimed was impossible. Far away, diplomacy unfolded. A knight humbly requested aid before a foreign king. Remembering past alliances and debts, the ruler agreed, setting the stage for a greater conflict yet unseen. The king proposed a marriage alliance to unite kingdoms, hoping Almeria would accept Fabian. Elvi expressed concern, knowing Almeria's reluctance. The plan, though political, placed heavy burdens on personal hearts. Privately, the king worried how to involve Almeria without upsetting her. He hesitated to ask Laurent again, despite knowing Laurent could manage threats. The thought lingered Laurent might be necessary. Tormented by duty, the king accepted the cost. He decided to summon Loran once more, sacrificing peace for security. A heavy choice loomed. Almeria's future would now hinge on him. Inside the guild, Loran and his colleagues sorted numerous requests. Most were trivial, but the volume made them uneasy. He quietly observed her, wondering if this simple routine could stay unchanged. She recalled a tale about someone cherishing another's words about pregnancy and love. Her expression turned bright. Loran listened, realizing those emotions might mirror feelings he hadn't yet named. She teased him with conclusions: love and happiness, a perfect match. Amidst the laughter, a serious request emerged. A ransacked orchard. She suggested it gently. He quietly accepted the mission. Loran and his colleague finally sorted the mountain of requests. Among them, one stood out: a ransacked orchard. With urgency, Loran prepared to investigate, determined to uncover the truth himself. Riding swiftly, Loran followed the trail. A sharp-eyed companion joined him, furious about the stolen fruit. Their path led to the orchards, where something or someone had begun systematically stealing the crops. The scent confirmed it. Unatsu was being taken. Nearby, monkey-like beasts stirred. Realizing the economic threat, Loran steadied himself. This wasn't just theft, it was sabotage, and he couldn't ignore the consequences. The couple sorted countless guild requests, troubled by the overflow. Among them, one stood out: an orchard theft. Loran decided to investigate immediately, his calm resolve masking a sense of urgency. Riding swiftly, Loran reached the orchard. With his cat partner, he learned about the precious Unatsu fruits. The scent led them to clues: damage, stolen produce, and increasing stakes for locals. Confirming suspicions, Loran confronted the victims. Their orchard was their only income. His mission became clear: this theft wasn't just crime, it was an attack on their peaceful, ordinary life. Loran reviewed the evidence carefully. Human-sized footprints littered the orchard, but the sticky drool was puzzling. He suspected something beyond a typical thief, something driven by instinct rather than greed. As Hogan asked about fees, Loran assessed the case's danger. Considering the possible creature involved, he recommended a C-rank quest. The cat listened, alert, its instincts sensing something familiar. Loran pondered the traces. The patterns and behaviors didn't match a lone thief. Surrounded by images of many beasts, he quietly reached a troubling conclusion: the true culprit might be a pack. Loran and his colleagues sifted through the overwhelming pile of minor guild requests. Despite wanting to help, they acknowledged their limits. The weight of responsibility began pressing down on them. While reviewing a bizarre request, the girl shared a strange story involving her friend's confusing emotions. Loran calmly analyzed her words, gradually realizing the depth of what she was implying. As they laughed and discussed emotions, a request caught their attention: an orchard had been raided. Loran decided this job fit him well. He stood, determined to see it through. Loran scanned piles of requests, troubled by the many personal matters disguised as quests. Despite the chaos, he remained calm, knowing the guild could only handle so many issues at once. A lively guildmate shared a story about Loran's friend, whose emotions sparked confusion. Her outburst clarified everything: his friend was in love. The bizarre tale brought some much-needed humor to Loran's day. Amused by her enthusiasm, Loran listened as she suggested a new request. An orchard had been ransacked. Realizing its urgency, Loran quietly agreed it was time to do what he did best. As the baboons scattered, a strange roar echoed through the forest. The feline identified it: a plesiosaurus. The monster's presence spooked the horse. Loran grabbed tight, preparing to flee. The plesiosaurus lashed out, devouring prey mid-air. Loran quickly grasped the cause. The monster disrupted the forest's balance. Now both prey and food vanished. He readied himself to strike back. Chaos erupted. The feline panicked while the monster babbled. Loran listened as it declared the forest a safe haven. Infuriated, the feline translated this enemy wouldn't leave willingly. Action was inevitable. Loran and his beast companion confronted the lurking predator, a plesiosaurus. The terrified horse warned them of danger. Loran, sensing the threat, decided to retreat, but not without uncovering the truth. Watching the predator devour its prey, Loran grasped the grim truth. The baboons were starving and hunted. With resolve, he stepped forward, determined to end the chaos in the forest. Loran launched his attack without mercy, subduing the beast with swift, lethal force. The demon cat fumed over the failed diplomacy. Yet now, peace might return, if only for a while. After defeating the beast, Loran quietly rode through the forest trails. Beside him, the feline demon lord watched the horizon, reflecting on duty, regret, and the fate of their subordinates. They crossed the bridge under starlight, their mission renewed. Despite lacking magic, Loran offered to help restore balance. The demon lord, moved by his resolve, agreed to act decisively if needed. Back at the guild, Loran faced questions. His superior, unaware of the forest battle, scolded him for the delay. Calmly, he apologized, keeping his secret life hidden behind a courteous bow. After returning from battle, Loran reported to his superior. Though nervous, he followed routine. She offered tea, easing the tension. They sat down. Now came the hard part, his explanation. Loran explained the monster encounter. The guild leader listened, processing the impact. Adventurers had rushed off, chasing riches. He admitted acting rashly. Yet, the guild's mission wasn't charity, it was trust. She responded with praise, admiring his integrity and swift decision-making. Trust between staff and clients was crucial. She reassured him his actions mattered. Their bond strengthened. Future requests would surely follow. Loran finished his report under Iris's watch. Despite her earlier frustration, she praised his quick thinking. She handed over the king's letter, unaware Loran had noticed something she hadn't. Iris learned her underwear had been visible, storming out in embarrassment. A few days later, peace returned. The guild celebrated with gifts, and Loran's clever planning earned quiet admiration. Though Iris was still flustered, Loran gifted her extra fruit. The demon cat praised his attentiveness. He shared the spoils, but the taste left them both making ridiculous faces. Loran accepted the king's unusual request to guard a hero's arranged marriage. Though doubtful, he journeyed alone. Iris and the cat worried, sensing there might be more than just ceremony ahead. Reaching the plains, Loran spotted an unusual gathering. The guards formed a perimeter, carriages clustered tightly. Suspicion arose. He moved in cautiously, eyes scanning for the king amidst the crowd. Inside the royal tent, Loran interrupted a heated embrace. Calmly extracting the girl, he silenced the startled king. Another royal mess resolved, just another task for a former legendary assassin in disguise. Loran set off alone across the quiet plains, bearing a king's request. Though warned it was political, he accepted. Orders were orders, and refusing the crown wasn't an option. The army formation puzzled him as he approached. Soldiers crowded together near the road. Loran, with feline companion in tow, prepared to meet King Randolph, already sensing something odd ahead. Inside the lavish tent, he interrupted a vulgar scene. With a deadpan stare, Loran pulled the woman away. The grumbling man roared, but Loran had no patience for theatrics. Loran accepted the king's request and journeyed across open fields. Though his familiar questioned the mission, he pressed on, knowing refusal wasn't an option when duty in the kingdom called him. Arriving near the rendezvous, Loran observed the soldiers and carriages gathered below. The odd formation raised suspicion, but he calmly proposed they meet King Randolph first to assess the situation. He entered the room to retrieve the bride-to-be, interrupting a rather intimate scene. Calmly asserting his duty, Loran pulled her out while chaos erupted, unfazed by the king's startled rage. Loran accepted the king's direct request, traveling with a massive convoy toward neutral territory. Though others saw it as a simple escort mission, he quietly assessed every detail with vigilance. Reaching the arranged meeting, Loran observed the soldiers' lax formation. Alarmed by their carelessness, he approached the king, interrupted boldly, and removed the woman entangled with the host as chaos erupted. In a room filled with tension, Loran calmly confronted the king. Despite reluctance, he agreed to assist. Soon after, the convoy resumed travel, drawing closer to their diplomatic destination by sea. Loran accepted the king's request to act as bodyguard during a political marriage. Despite knowing it wasn't a normal task, he quietly departed, leaving behind his usual life and peace. Upon arriving, Loran noticed the royal knights' disorganized stance. Suspicious of their formation, he decided to confirm the situation directly with King Randolph, wary of being drawn into politics again. Inside the tent, Loran interrupted an intimate moment without hesitation. Displeased by the summons for a mere marriage, he removed the woman and prepared to handle the issue more seriously. Loran reluctantly joins the diplomatic journey after receiving a personal summons from the king. Though uninterested in politics, he agrees, sensing deeper tensions beneath the proposed marriage and alliance talks. During their stop, Loran meets Knight Commander Gregor, who mocks his role. Unshaken, Loran questions how many noticed he rode in the king's carriage, forcing Gregor to reevaluate his assumptions. Loran calls out the knight's carelessness, exposing their lax security. Tension spikes as Gregor attacks in anger, but Loran's calm and brutal response reveals his hidden, dangerous competence beneath the surface. Loran joined the royal escort under King Randolph's orders, drawing suspicion from the knights. Amid jokes and tensions, they approached a coastal resort town, their true purpose hidden beneath casual words. After learning Loran was Almeria's tutor, the knights reluctantly yielded command. He organized their formation with precision, demonstrating calm authority, reshaping their view of him in one calculated moment. Suddenly, scouts reported a bandit ambush. With rapid assessment and swift commands, Loran mobilized the escort into defensive units. His tactics turned tension into order as the threat began to unfold. The enemy leader emerged from the shadows, tension thick in the air. Loran stepped forward, calm and unreadable, assessing his opponent's stance with precision honed through countless battles before. Steel clashed as the two warriors collided. Loran's movements were fluid, overwhelming. The enemy faltered under the pressure, struggling to keep up with the relentless onslaught that drove him back. Though wounded and defeated, the enemy prepared a final desperate move. Loran remained composed, anticipating the threat. His grip tightened. One clean strike would determine the outcome of this battle. Loran moved with precise intent, singling out the enemy leader. The battlefield grew tense as both sides watched. Without a word he advanced, ready to end the threat with calm resolve. With a swift and flawless strike, Loran disabled the commander. The enemy panicked and scattered. Remaining still, he judged the attack's flaw. His thrust lacked speed. He'd seen far better before. As Loran commended the knights, the atmosphere eased. Suddenly, Princess Almeria stormed in, weapon drawn. Shocked to see Loran, she halted. His presence raised more questions than the battle itself. Almeria mistook Loran's return as a rescue from marriage. Loran calmly explained his duty as a royal bodyguard. Her flustered denial amused him, though his focus remained on his assignment. A report of a royal army's approach shifted their attention. Loran instructed Almeria to greet the envoy. Soldiers lined up as the reinforcements' carriages rolled across the battlefield plain. The meeting began. Almeria praised Loran's actions in front of the royalty. When asked about the bandit leader, Loran simply answered he had already killed him. The prince smiled, impressed. The prince excused himself, politely bound by time, leaving King Randolph thoughtful. Loran observed quietly, noting the prince's charm and political obscurity. Talks of Almeria's marriage loomed larger than war. Far from politics and titles, the sea shimmered under dusk. Ships drifted calmly. Loran stood alone, watching the horizon, silently wishing everything resolved peacefully for the kingdom, for Almeria and himself. They arrived at a peaceful beachside town. She ran toward the shore, amazed by the view. Loran followed cautiously, sensing no danger. It felt far too quiet, almost suspiciously so. Loran was soon called to meet the king. Almeria, exhausted and anxious, tried to decline the upcoming dinner with the royals. But protocol demanded her presence, despite her hesitation. Inside the villa, the atmosphere grew heavier. Almeria pouted under pressure, unwilling to face her role. Loran's blunt words cut through her excuses. She flinched, realizing she couldn't keep avoiding reality. Almeria held back tears, overwhelmed by pressure and expectations. The arranged meeting loomed, and everyone insisted she comply. Quietly she nodded, led away to prepare while doubts grew heavier. Elvie entered the royal room, reporting her concern for Almeria. As a key noble, she felt responsible for uniting both houses, but her thoughts froze upon seeing a familiar figure. Confronting Loran, Elvie demanded answers through tears. She had believed he was lost forever. As emotions flared, Loran remained calm, asking her to wait. He had something more important to ask. Almeria rushed to the shore, dazzled by the view, twirling in joy. Loran observed the calm, sensing no threat. It was peaceful, unlike anywhere they'd visited before. A rare moment unfolded. Loran was summoned quickly to meet the king. As plans for dinner were laid out, Almeria's presence was requested. Hesitant, she faltered, nervous about the political tension ahead. Inside, the mood grew heavier. Almeria arrived late, unprepared for the stares and pressure. Loran scolded gently, reminding her of duty. Caught between roles, she tried holding back her frustration. Amid serene waves, she knelt, tears flowing quietly. The joy of his presence after uncertainty overwhelmed her. Though silent, her heart screamed relief. She was not alone anymore. Loran returned to his room, his companion following close. Memories and bonds lingered in his thoughts. Despite disappearing, emotional ties still bound him. He couldn't cut them away completely. Elsewhere, two women strolled the seaside path, enjoying calm and comfort. Sharing drinks, one offered pineapple juice with a warm smile. For now, they savored peace, unaware of unfolding tensions. Almeria arrived at the beach, mesmerized by the scenery. The ocean shimmered peacefully. She rushed into the waves with joy, unaware of Loran observing silently, scanning for unseen dangers nearby. Loran was soon summoned by a royal attendant. He followed her toward the villa. Inside, dinner with royalty was arranged. Almeria hesitated, but duty forced her to accept. Inside the grand hall, tension grew. Almeria pouted, resisting the formalities. Loran remained composed, chastising her quietly. The king insisted on unity. Almeria stood stunned, torn between rebellion and obligation. Almeria held back tears as the looming engagement weighed on her. Ordered to meet the prince alone, she followed the maids silently. Meanwhile, Elvi arrived, determined to speak out. Elvi faced the queen, requesting Almeria's whereabouts. Driven by duty and concern, she revealed her burden of uniting the families. Her heart froze the moment she spotted Loran across the room. Confronting Loran, Elvi trembled with relief and frustration. She had believed him lost. Tears surfaced as she demanded answers, but Loran, calm and reserved, asked to speak with her privately. Lenora stood by the sea, seeking the memory of something long lost. Loran approached, his voice calm. Recognition sparked. She recalled who he was, the bodyguard from Farron's court. They dined under starlight, laughter echoing softly. Lenora, flushed with drink, admitted no man had asked her this way before. Loran, gentle and sincere, invited her to walk once more. He spoke of a quiet place. She hesitated but nodded. Together they walked beneath glowing lanterns. That night, something unspoken passed between them, not duty, but something perhaps more human. Fabian trembled, scorched by magic and shame. Around him, silence thickened. Almeria stood tall, voice sharp and clear. Her rejection cut deep, not just words but justice. Eyes watched, stunned. Almeria's sudden outburst shattered Fabian's smug confidence. Confused and battered, he reeled from her blow. Observers gasped. The love potion had failed. Panic stirred behind his eyes. Fabian scrambled for support, accusing her with desperation. Almeria stood firm, unmoved. Her words cut sharper than any blade. The noble's schemes unraveled as murmurs of doubt echoed. Voices rose in the hall. Almeria exposed the prince's deception. Loran stepped forward, calm and deliberate. He promised clarity. All eyes turned toward him, awaiting the truth. Almeria's reaction shocked everyone. The love potion should have lasted months, yet she struck Fabian. Realizing something was wrong, all eyes turned to Loran, who calmly pieced the truth together. Loran exposed Fabian's actions. He guided the crowd through logic, revealing Almeria's odd behavior wasn't natural. Confronted, Fabian grew defensive. Accusations flew until Loran decided to bring in another witness. Lenora testified under pressure, revealing Fabian's order to drug Almeria's drink. The room fell silent. Fabian lashed out in panic, but his desperation only made his guilt even more evident. The gathering turned chaotic as Almeria suddenly punched Fabian, shocking the entire hall. Her anger flared, and her voice cut through the tension, rejecting him before he could act again. Confused and bruised, Fabian reeled from the blow, unable to comprehend her resistance. Almeria's words stung the room. Everyone watched as her disgust exposed the shame behind his forced proposal. Realization spread. The potion had failed. Fabian panicked, questioning the sabotage. Loran's calm gaze hinted at the truth. Whispers grew louder. The deception crumbled. The tables had clearly turned on Fabian. Fabian reeled as the potion's influence shattered. Almeria, regaining clarity, rejected him with disgust. Onlookers watched in confusion. Whispers stirred. Loran narrowed his eyes, suspecting manipulation behind the sudden breakdown. The court erupted as Loran stepped forward, calmly exposing the prince's deceit. Almeria, furious, recounted the unwanted advance. Loyalties fractured. Lenora bravely testified about the spiked juice, igniting Fabian's panic. Fabian denied guilt, but the king abandoned him. Lenora wept in relief as protection was granted. Almeria stood firm, silencing threats. Elvi intervened, her status confirming the moral weight. Almeria slapped the prince, shattering the effects of a concealed love potion. Shock rippled through the hall as onlookers questioned the sudden reversal. Loran observed silently, a knowing gaze fixed. Prince Fabian panicked as his father appeared, demanding answers. Almeria denounced him, exposing his unwanted advance. She declared his guilt clearly, refusing to be silenced or blamed for his disgrace. Tension escalated. Almeria defended herself, recounting Fabian's aggression. Loran stepped forward, offering to clarify the chaos. All eyes turned to him, sensing the truth rested with the unassuming guild staff. Cornered by overwhelming facts, King Reuben stammers excuses, claiming it was mere speculation. Loran, unfazed, reminds him of their silent agreements, subtly warning him against betrayal or deception again. King Reuben's attempts to shift blame onto his son, pleading leniency. King Randolph interrupts sternly, declaring that as fathers before rulers, they must take responsibility for their children's actions. On his knees, King Rubens finally begs forgiveness for Fabian's deeds, though granted, its conditional future cooperation is demanded. Silence falls as judgment is passed, heavy with shame and reluctant mercy. Lenora stood accused, but her calm defiance unsettled the court. The room watched in silence as the true manipulators faltered, their schemes crumbling under the weight of her unwavering truth. King Randolph stepped forward, honoring Lenora's courage. He offered protection, severing her from her past bonds. Her tears fell quietly. Relief, gratitude, and fear mingled as the kingdom's justice tilted in her favor. The prince's father denied involvement, cold and calculating. He shifted blame, dismissing consequences. The prince trembled, cornered by betrayal. No loyalty remained, only the chilling awareness of abandonment in royal politics. Princess Almeria stands firm before the court, recalling hazy memories after drinking the cafe's juice. Tension rises as doubts surface about the drug's existence, while King Rubens hides his unease. King Rubens tries to deflect the blame and suppress Almeria's protests, citing diplomacy and international risk. Elvi steps forward, countering with bold defiance, accusing the prince of deception and misuse of power. The king's manipulation backfires as Loran reveals a chilling memory of the Friday purge. Rubens freezes in shock. The veiled past emerges, and Loran's true authority begins to cast a long shadow over the hall. As tension rose between them, a mysterious voice interrupted the moment. They turned in confusion, only to find a black cat calmly sitting and claiming responsibility for the words. The talking cat baffled everyone. While the girl tried to greet it with playful affection, the cat responded with unexpected irritation, critiquing her tone. Lauren seemed oddly familiar with the feline. Revealing its wisdom, the cat lectured confidently about love and strategy. The girl listened, stunned. Its advice, though unusual, struck deep, leaving her with new resolve and endless questions. As the group prepared to part ways, a mysterious voice interrupted them. The cat, unexpectedly speaking, drew everyone's attention. Loran remained composed, while the others reacted with growing confusion. The girl knelt, greeting the cat playfully. The cat voiced its displeasure at her tone and offered guidance. Loran watched silently as the cat began sharing unasked for advice. Claiming vast experience, the cat boasted proudly, offering detailed lessons no one requested. Loran turned away, uninterested, but the others, fascinated, clung to every word as if it were gospel. Elvia grew frustrated with Loran's evasiveness, demanding clarity. Suddenly, an unexpected voice interrupted them. A mysterious black cat appeared, calmly claiming the voice was its own, shocking everyone present. The talking cat began scolding Elvia's tone, revealing wisdom beyond its form. Curious and eager, she questioned Loran about their connection. The cat dismissed her flattery and offered sage-like advice. Declaring himself vastly experienced, the cat boasted his knowledge. Elvia, overwhelmed, accepted him as her mentor. Meanwhile, Loran prepared to leave, unaware that Elvia's pursuit of answers had only just begun. Loran stood silently as the king spoke from the heart. He asked not as a ruler, but as a father. Loran's quiet refusal was firm yet respectful. The king, undeterred, masked disappointment with humor. He proposed a new plan, lifting his drink high. Loran, amused, joined the toast, masking his own conflicted heart behind a calm smile. With drinks exchanged and laughter shared, they placed a playful bet on the king's retirement. Bonds of respect had formed, bridging gaps of status with sincere, light-hearted companionship. Loran reflected on his conflicting desires, living normally and protecting those he cares about. Though unsure, he realized his feelings. He worried about them, but he tried not to show it. Almeria's demeanor shifted sharply. Her smile masked fury as she confronted him about last night's activities. Jealousy flared. Her eyes darkened. Loran froze, unable to escape the storm gathering before him. Her voice roared accusing, passionate, unfiltered. She declared her strength, her value, her pride. Despite the chaos, Loran remained calm, offering clarity. He only wanted to know if she understood him. He reached out as if to say something important, but his words fell short. She stopped him with teary eyes, asking to stay, not ready to say goodbye yet. Wrapped in each other's arms, they remained still. The world faded around them, leaving just two hearts beating in quiet understanding, held together by feelings neither dared to fully explain. Melina approached Loran in concern. She revealed someone had been watching them. Other adventurers also sensed it. The strange gaze came from outside the window, quiet, persistent, and unsettlingly familiar. Loran went to investigate alone. Melina worried, but he vanished before she could act. Outside, he encountered Rosie, nervous, hiding. Her trembling hands hinted she was the one watching. Caught off guard, Rosie tried to lie. Loran saw through her. She confessed jealousy, unable to accept his closeness with another. Her flustered denial betrayed what her heart truly wanted. Yahello approached Loran amidst the crowd, her voice low with unease. She reported strange sightings. Several adventurers echoed her fear, unseen eyes watching from beyond the window. Loran decided to investigate alone. Outside, Loran confronted Rosie. The elf, her awkward excuses failed to hide her jealousy. Loran calmly questioned her intent, but Rosie snapped, admitting her frustration over Layla's affection for him. Rosie exploded, declaring her true purpose to test Loran's worth for Layla. As others whispered, Loran introduced her as a guest, but Rosie secretly vowed to expose him completely. Yahello approached Loran with concern. Adventurers whispered of a stalker, and now she sensed it too. He listened carefully, eyes sharp, as she pointed toward the window, her voice trembling slightly. Without delay, Loran left to investigate. Outside, he found Rosie lurking awkwardly. Her excuse crumbled under pressure, revealing her jealousy. She confronted him, torn between denial and her true feelings. Rosie lashed out defensively, unable to accept her emotions. Loran's calm words only flustered her further. Realizing her awkward honesty, he smiled slightly. She stomped off, furious yet her heart unsteady. Yahello approached Loran with concern. She sensed an unsettling presence watching them for days. Other adventurers reported the same. As Loran listened carefully, she pointed quietly toward the window, eyes serious. Without hesitation, Loran left to investigate the source. Yahello grew anxious, fearing danger. Outside, Loran found Rosie the elf, feigning coincidence. Her clumsy lie barely masked her embarrassment and jealousy. Rosie tried justifying her spying, claiming duty, but frustration and pride tangled with unspoken feelings. Loran's teasing unnerved her more. Watching from the guild, Yahello realized Rosie's true intentions, hidden affection revealed by instinct. Yahello confided in Loran that someone had been watching the guild. Rumors among adventurers confirmed the unease. She pointed nervously to the window. Someone outside was persistently observing their every move. Loran calmly offered to investigate, easing Yahello's fears. Slipping outside, he vanished into the alley's shadows. Moments later, he spotted Rosie lingering suspiciously, startling her with a composed but sharp question. Cornered, Rosie fumbled for excuses, insisting she was just walking. Her flustered words betrayed jealousy toward Layla. Loran, unmoved, pointed out her poor deception, Rosie's embarrassment, only confirming his silent suspicions. Mori and the others formed a strategy before approaching the girls. Some treated it like a game, others sought love. Loran stayed quiet, watching them all with measured calm. Introductions began at the dinner table. The girls came from different jobs: maids, adventurers, and bakers. As everyone spoke, Loran noticed a presence watching silently from afar, cloaked in tension. When asked, Loran casually dismissed the cloaked figure as an observer, but his mind stayed alert. These girls knew Milia, their praise was genuine, yet he sensed more beneath. Loran questioned Rosie's shy reactions, noticing her avoidant glances. Observing her flustered behavior, he pondered if she harbored innocent feelings. Meanwhile, Rosie, embarrassed and conflicted, lashed out to hide it. The conversation turned to how to treat those with hidden affections. Loran listened intently as the girls explained. As lunch approached, he quietly stepped away, carrying the lunch Layla prepared. Caught sneaking off, Loran faced Rosie's suspicion. She misunderstood his intentions, thinking he'd discard Layla's meal. But when he offered to share, Rosie's anger softened, realizing his quiet thoughtfulness. Loran offered half of his precious food to the elf, who protested loudly but begrudgingly accepted. They later relaxed beneath a tree, sharing drinks. From afar, Milia continued watching. Milia, still silent and distant, kept a close eye on Loran. As gossip spread about her presence, Loran focused on work, unaware of the intensity in her glare growing. Later, Loran was pulled aside by a colleague and told of a special assignment. Promoted to full-time examiner, he was asked to attend training alone, under Milia's quiet, jealous gaze. Loran quietly observed the cheerful crowd, feeling out of place amid laughter. He drank cautiously, unsure of alcohol's effects. As night fell, gratitude filled the air, and goodbyes were exchanged warmly. With one arm supporting a staggering companion, Loran guided her through quiet streets. A shy girl hesitated, then asked him for a future meeting, nervously expressing her unexpected admiration and hope. Loran escorted the last companion home, surprised by her secluded dwelling. She cheerfully announced their arrival near the mill, leaving Loran silently pondering her choice of solitude beneath the moonlight. Loran walked her home, steady despite the weight. Her words carried confidence and risk. As they reached a secluded area, she leaned in close. Their moment was suddenly interrupted by strangers approaching. Recognizing the elf girl from earlier, Laurent assessed the situation. Thugs surrounded her, touching without permission. Calmly stepping back, he excused himself. She smiled knowingly, sensing he'd return sooner than expected. Laurent reappeared, silently disabling the aggressor. The others panicked at the sight of him. Whispers spread rumors of his strength, his army. The staff members' calm gaze silenced them without a word. Laurent joined the others for drinks, uncertain about alcohol. Despite his hesitation, the guild insisted. He carried a tipsy companion afterward, confused by their kindness but grateful for the unexpected warmth. Laurent continued walking her home. The directions led far outside town. He followed her lead, quietly surprised by the final destination, a quiet watermill where she cheerfully declared she lived alone. Laurent arrived with Almeria at the training facility. While she compared it to noble villas, he remained indifferent. She planned to explore the city, while he agreed to regroup later. As Laurent prepared for work, Almeria reflected on recent events. Talk of a demon attack on the princess intrigued him. She teased him before cheerfully sending him off to work. Exploring the capital, Almeria was amazed by the diverse crowd and lively food market. Compared to her quiet village, the city's energy and smells stirred her curiosity and growing excitement. Almeria strolled through the lively capital, captivated by its food stalls and diversity. Amid the bustling crowd, she eagerly ordered 2 skewers, unaware that danger was watching her from nearby shadows. While savoring the skewers, she reached for her purse only to find it missing. Panic spread across her face as she frantically searched, drawing attention from the vendor and onlookers. A cloaked stranger approached, offering to pay in return for information. Almeria froze, recognizing his voice. Her thoughts spun: who was he, and what did he want in exchange for his help? Laurent arrived at the training facility, blending into the group of guild employees gathering in the large hall. He quietly studied the name list and chose a seat alone. As the lecture began, Samuel introduced himself with a proud tone. Laurent immediately recognized the name of the instructor's mentor, triggering old memories from a past he kept hidden. Though the lecturer taught basic flame magic, Laurent silently assessed the theory. Others took notes diligently, but he memorized everything while confirming the flaws and structure in the magic circle. Laurent entered the academy for the lecture, observing the open layout and students settling in. As he scanned the seating chart, memories stirred from names connected to his former life. The instructor Samuel arrived with flair, introducing himself with pride. Laurent watched calmly, noting the lesson's basic nature, unimpressed. Students whispered around him, but he stayed focused on the demonstration. The flame magic circle activated, impressing the class. But Laurent challenged its inefficiency, pointing out flaws. Samuel bristled at criticism, defending tradition. Laurent remained calm, certain of what he knew. The moment he stepped forward, tension filled the room. Laurent exposed the lie calmly, knowing the man's fear meant guilt. He mentioned Gilman. That name alone silenced all protests instantly. Laurent assisted the shaken instructor without hesitation, his gaze unwavering. With the matter resolved, he quietly resumed the lecture. Eyes followed him. Whispers grew. None expected a clerk to command presence. Curious students gathered, their opinions split. Some admired him, others doubted his past. Questions swirled: was he a magician, an adventurer, or both? Laurent answered little, shifting focus back to learning. Students introduced themselves warmly, unaware Laurent had no intention to remember them. Rumors spread his ego, his sponsor. But Laurent stayed distant, unaffected by labels or whispers from the curious crowd. The word sponsored stirred deeper questions. Talk shifted to power and fierce stories of guild firings, aristocrats' wrath. Laurent listened silently, knowing he'd done nothing wrong. But wrong didn't matter here. Accusations burst through the door. A knight demanded the name of the offender. Laurent stood calmly, accepting blame. His honesty shook the room. Students watched, unsure if it was bravery or recklessness. Laurent realized he broke his own rule. A normal man would have stayed quiet. Yet, he faced the knight calmly, refusing to bow. The students watched, stunned by his strange composure. He challenged the knight's pride with polite defiance. Insults were exchanged. Honor twisted into rage. A single strike flew. Laurent was thrown back. Gasps echoed. Yet his eyes didn't lose focus. Bruised but steady, Laurent stood. He clutched the wrong cheek, corrected himself, then muttered again it hurt. His calm unsettled even the knight. The class, once skeptical, now whispered in awe. A chilling pressure filled the air. Laurent rose slowly, his aura shifting. Students panicked, glass shattered. Even the knight froze. Something ancient stirred, calm, silent, and impossible to ignore. Almeria appeared, furious and unrelenting. Her rage wasn't just for justice, it was personal. Her eyes blazed with resolve. To her, harming Loran wasn't just offense, it was unforgivable betrayal. The knight tried to retreat. Loran warned him, "Run." Almeria's presence dominated the hall. Even in fury, her steps were disciplined. Loran, watching, saw traces of the training he once gave. Almeria's strike shattered the floor, stunning everyone. Her voice thundered through the hall. She demanded an apology for Loran, not out of formality but fury. Her next blow would be real. The knight panicked, groveling before Loran. Chaos unraveled further as Layla struggled, hands stuck. Loran remained calm, bewildered by their energy. To him, even royalty could become unruly in moments. The seminar in ruins, Loran sighed. Almeria offered dinner awkwardly. Her concern was obvious, though she fumbled. Loran stared, half confused, half tired. "Don't get me wrong," she shouted, flustered. Loran scolded her gently, her emotions bubbling up. She'd acted on instinct. He acknowledged her effort, even thanked her. But duty called. She wanted to stay. He told her not to. Her frustration boiled over. She ran, declaring him a jerk, though her tears hinted otherwise. Loran watched her go. Beneath it all, he knew this time he was the one saved. That evening, over wine, he recounted the day. His companion listened, wise and composed. They spoke of strength, youth, and love. Beneath their words was a truth Loran quietly avoided. The drinks flowed freely. Pride and competition spilled over. One drank to forget, another to prove herself. Almeria declared a challenge. The night blurred with emotion, pride, and far too much sake. Samuel ranted about titles and honor, then drowned his doubts in liquor. The noblewoman beside Loran confessed her feelings between hiccups, clinging to her cup and dreams she didn't fully understand. Chaos erupted. Samuel yelled for a duel. Almeria, drunk but fierce, laughed it off. Loran dragged her away, but her fire burned brighter. Madness or courage, no one could tell. Almeria collapsed into a drunken mess, unable to hold it in. Samuel lost his dignity in front of everyone. The room froze. Loran simply stood in stunned, silent disbelief. Laughter erupted as shame met humiliation. Loran gave her a light bonk, ending the chaos. Apologies were exchanged. The night closed quietly. Tomorrow lectures would resume, but tonight madness reigned. A messenger arrived during class, calling for Loran Argan by name. Without hesitation, Loran stood. Count Zygmus Constantine had summoned him, an invitation few received, and even fewer returned from. Whispers filled the classroom as Loran prepared to leave. Constantine's reputation for violence was legendary. Friends warned him to choose his words wisely. One mistake could cost him his head. Escorted into an opulent mansion, Loran remained calm. The Count awaited in silence, watching. Every step inside was measured. The real test had begun, and Loran knew it instantly. Count Constantine confronted Loran directly. His issue wasn't about methods, it was pride. Loran's correction had damaged their reputation. Now, the Count demanded public apology to restore authority, or face consequences. Loran stayed calm as the Count unsheathed his sword. Effectiveness didn't matter, status did. Yet beneath the noble's threats, Loran recognized something else, a killer's instinct hiding behind ceremonial grace. The Count bragged of 16 kills, voices of the dead echoing in his mind. He pressed the blade forward. Smiling, he asked Loran how far down that path was he. Loran's fingers froze, blade locked in place. Constantine, drunk on power and sake, declared him the next victim. But Loran spoke plainly. What Constantine heard were not voices, but his own conscience. Constantine snapped, furious. Loran remained calm, dissecting every word. His kills weren't justice, they were escapes. The noble drank to silence guilt. To Loran, he was nothing more than a reckless amateur. Loran's voice turned colder. The dead would never leave him. Constantine's smile faltered. Questioned, he hesitated for the first time. And then, he asked, just how many had Loran truly killed? Loran's eyes narrowed. He gave no number, only a quiet question. Death, to him, was no different than breathing. The weight it carried had long been buried beneath his calm. Constantine broke. Apology escaped his lips. Curiosity turned to awe, then desperation. Loran declined the offer, stepping away. His identity remained veiled, his words final, just a guild employee, nothing more. Back at the dormitory, peace returned. The girl, haunted by strange dreams, winced in pain. Loran dismissed her complaints. The lesson was over. Foolish actions always demanded strange consequences. Loran Argan's name echoed through the guild hall, halting the chatter. Calmly he stood as a messenger summoned him. Count Zygmus Constantine had requested him an invitation none dared to ignore. Whispers filled the room with dread. The name Constantine carried weight: noble, ruthless, dangerous. Lauren remained composed, unfazed by warnings of beheadings and short tempers. Without hesitation, he agreed to meet him. A grand mansion loomed ahead. Inside, the infamous Count lounged, awaiting Lauren's arrival. The quiet hall intensified the tension. Introduced formally, Lauren stepped forward unflinching, prepared for whatever confrontation lay ahead. Lauren was summoned to the office and accused of undermining Samuel's methods. The noble demanded a public apology, concerned that Lauren's simpler magic technique would damage their teaching reputation. Though Lauren explained his method was more effective, the noble dismissed results. Revealing his killer instinct, the noble sensed Lauren's hidden past and claimed they were both cut from the same cloth. With a twisted grin, the noble boasted of 16 murders and mocked the pleas of his victims. Lauren, calm and unreadable, questioned the man's stage as if testing his soul. Lauren walked silently through the grand guild hall, ignoring the warnings. He reached the final room, opening it without pause. Inside, a familiar face turned, shocked by Lauren's sudden appearance. The guildmaster's wide grin stretched across his face. They exchanged sharp words, Lauren unmoved by the energy. Accusations and memories flew as Lauren questioned the leak of his past. As the guildmaster explained 2 urgent matters, Lauren listened, unmoved. Talks of adventurer chaos and demon revival echoed. Lauren's refusal was immediate, but the guildmaster wasn't finished yet. Lauren listened as the guildmaster pleaded for help, revealing unrest in the demon world. Reluctantly, Lauren agreed to lead if danger emerged, his resolve buried under calm expression. With the discussion finished, Lauren quietly prepared to leave. As he reached the door, the master called out, asking about the demon lord. Lauren paused, eyes shadowed by memory. Lauren claimed ignorance, insisting the demon lord was defeated. Outside, he reunited with his companion and returned to town. Yet behind him, a dark portal shimmered. Change was already coming. Lauren rode quietly through the countryside, thoughts circling the revival rumor. If the demon lord returned, only he could act. The talking cat beside him shared the unspoken concern. Despite Lauren's calm demeanor, the cat couldn't hide its excitement. News of his promotion spread fast. While others cheered, Lauren quietly questioned Taro's intentions behind the sudden pointed inquiry. As the sun set, Lauren masked his thoughts. Only King Randolph knew the truth of the demon lord's defeat. The others remained unaware. Lauren walked on, guarding the secret alone. A lifeless hand rested in the grass, overlooked by a crow. Deep in the forest, rumors stirred. The man once thought gone had returned, his name whispered among crows and shadows. At the guild, Lauren discussed Lenny, the S-rank adventurer with a troubling reputation. Suspicion lingered. The girl smiled, masking concern. Clairvoyance revealed truths, but even she feared what might be uncovered. Secrets shared on the porch brought clarity. Lenny's threats sealed his fate. He saw everything except his own downfall. They sat in silence, bound by truths too dangerous to speak aloud. Lauren's gaze lingered on her expression as the tension faded. She teased him gently, but beneath the laughter, a truth lingered. He had acted out of fear, not duty alone. She mumbled the ancient phrase, flustered but sincere. Lauren questioned its meaning, his eyes steady. As she stumbled over her words, her fingers trembled, unwilling to say what her heart felt. The phrase was spoken again, clear and certain. "May your happiness never end." She nodded, eyes soft. For a moment, the world paused, and neither needed to say anything more. As their moment grew close, he instinctively pulled away, cautious of the eyes outside. She sulked, frustrated, but he remained composed. Something outside had caught his trained attention again. At the door stood 4 familiar girls once held in chains. Their appearance stunned them both. Freed from their captor, they now arrived silently, carrying intentions unknown and unreadable. They offered gratitude, unsure how. He suggested a path forward adventuring. Though uncertain, their resolve grew. Their clothes were ragged, but their spirits determined. A new chapter was quietly beginning. Just as their lips were about to meet, Lauren turned away. He sensed movement outside. Her frustration rose, but outside the window, 4 silent figures stood staring through the gate. Recognizing them as former slaves, Lauren and his companion invited them in. Confused yet determined, the girls explained they came to repay kindness. Lauren suggested a path adventuring with a condition. He offered shelter, a warm bath, and repurposed clothes. As they ate heartily, their spirits lifted. They asked for names, and with sincere smiles, they were given a new start. As she leaned in close, warmth lingered between them, but he shifted away. His eyes darted to the door. Outside, silent figures approached. The moment dissolved before it began. Standing in the doorway were the freed girls, silent, cautious, uncertain. Recognition dawned on both sides. The couple stepped back. The girls came with intentions, not demands, only quiet gratitude. They offered help in return, unsure how to live freely. He proposed training as adventurers. They agreed. Hope replaced fear. A new beginning formed, rooted in mutual respect and choice. Loran pulled away just before their lips touched, cautious of the world beyond their quiet moment. She pouted, embarrassed, while he calmly reminded her there were eyes watching outside. Their doorstep filled with familiar faces, 4 slave girls they once rescued. Shock struck them both. Why had they come? The girls, silent and still, seemed to await something important. They spoke with resolve. Though free, they wanted purpose. Loran offered guidance and asked, would they try becoming adventurers? With eager hearts and uncertain strength, the girls nodded in unison. As she leaned in with closed eyes, anticipation hung thick between them. Just before their lips touched, Loran abruptly pulled back. She froze, confused. There are people outside, he muttered. Before she could question him, a knock interrupted. 4 young girls stood at the door, quiet, worn, and familiar. Recognition dawned. They were once captives, now free, standing with searching eyes. Gratitude guided their words. They wanted to help. Loran listened, calm. He offered them a test, a chance. Adventurers then, he said. The girls nodded, ready to walk a new path. The girls, once dirty and exhausted, were warmly welcomed with a bath and new clothes. Their hesitant eyes softened as they felt warmth for the first time in ages. With bellies full from their first proper meal in weeks, they listened quietly. Gratitude filled the room, as Loran assured them what happened before would no longer define them. The girls stood still, unsure, before nervously requesting names. One by one they were given identities, each name a promise. They smiled, realizing this was their true beginning. The girls returned from their quest, arms full of collected goods. Surprised by their reward, they planned to celebrate. Excitement rose as they invited Loran to join their meal. As they planned a feast, cheers erupted about Loran's new role. He deflected praise, but questions lingered. A mysterious inquiry about the Demon Lord's revival clouded his thoughts silently. Loran remained quiet, his mind clouded by the secret of the Demon Lord. No one knew the truth. While others laughed, he walked away, burdened by hidden victories. While Loran focused on tasks behind the scenes, the girls explored town shops, choosing outfits. Meanwhile, others grumbled through gutter work, unaware their complaints echoed their own forgotten beginnings. A mysterious girl in a cloak arrived to register. Loran noticed her incomplete form but proceeded. Beneath the hood, she smiled silently, hiding both her name and intentions from everyone. The girl revealed herself as Candy. Her confidence unsettled Loran, though her beauty caught everyone's eyes. Calm and composed, she invited questions while Loran prepared the procedure to test her. Candy declared she needed money. As instructed, she placed her hands on the orb. Instantly it glowed intensely. Gasps followed. The device cracked. Her magic overwhelmed the measurement tool. Loran reviews a mysterious applicant's form. She wrote no reason, only her name. With calm composure, she reveals herself Candy Minard. Behind her smile, something powerful and unpredictable begins to stir. Her magic surges, cracking the measuring device. Observers gasp at the overwhelming power. Though he could pass her instantly, Loran insists on a practical test. A quiet duel is arranged. Candy steps forward, staff in hand. She smiles, confident and calm. Magic spirals around her like a storm. Loran stands firm, watching closely, as her true strength begins to unfold. Candy stood proudly before Argan, taunting with overflowing confidence. Argan remained silent, unimpressed. She mistook his calm for fear. Her magic surged, but he judged her misread strength with sharp precision. She launched a fierce thrust, confident in her dominance. Argan moved effortlessly, dodging and closing in. His calm demeanor shattered her rhythm. In that instant, she realized the huge power gap. Argan whispered a single word, dispel. Her enchantment broke, revealing her illusion. Stunned, she collapsed in disbelief. He stood over her, composed. She trembled, overwhelmed, and asked how he saw through it. She passed the exam without difficulty, drawing admiration from the crowd. Offers and proposals flooded her. Yet Candy only smiled, politely declining. Her eyes stayed fixed on one man, Loran. Loran led her to his secluded home. Confused but intrigued, Candy followed. Her excitement grew with every step. She teased, trying to provoke him, unaware of the surprise awaiting her. At the doorstep, Candy froze. A woman from her past stood there alive, once thought lost. now embraced her. Tears welled as memories resurfaced and long-buried truths stirred. A mysterious girl stood at the counter, cloaked and silent. Argan reviewed her incomplete form. No motive given, no hesitation shown. Her hood lifted slowly, revealing a quiet, unreadable smile. Introducing herself as Candy Meinrad, she smiled radiantly. Argan, suspicious yet intrigued, asked his questions. Her appearance stirred commotion, but Candy calmly welcomed inquiry, her confidence drawing everyone's undivided attention. Candy revealed her motive: money. Argan initiated the magic evaluation. When she touched the orb, it cracked from the overwhelming power, stunning the guild. Even Argan found her potential difficult to ignore. Candace quietly accepts the offer to stay longer, masking the thirst she still wrestles with. Her eyes glow softly, revealing the hunger that never fades beneath her playful conversation. Loran's calm demeanor hides surprise at her blunt request. She hesitates, flustered by his consent. Despite temptation, she declines, fearing Mao-sama's scolding more than her own unrelenting thirst. While she relaxes in her long bath, he reflects alone. Determined to grow stronger, he seeks high-paying quests ready to stand beside her with strength earned by his own hands. The woman challenged him with mocking words, certain of victory. Calm and still, he warned her. She underestimated him, unable to sense danger, mistaking silence for weakness. Her fate was sealed. She lunged with full strength, confidence blazing in her eyes. He dodged effortlessly, countering with graceful precision. Her stance faltered. Surprise filled her face. His skill was beyond her expectations. A single word dispelled her illusion. Her power unraveled. Knees trembling, she collapsed, overwhelmed. Bewildered, she asked how he saw through it. He smiled slightly, offering no answer, only calm presence. With confidence and purpose, she stepped forward through the guild hall. Her gaze steady, she offered a solution. Someone capable, reliable. The weight of her words silenced the room instantly. The guild's bulletin board cleared overnight, sparking surprise. Whispers circled about the mysterious new recruit who passed the exam. Loren calmly handed over quests, knowing she was already proving herself. Candace accepted every night quest available, determined to honor the trust placed in her. Despite praise, she remained humble, requesting more work. Loren noticed her resolve grew stronger with each day. Loren received another letter as morning bustle returned. Familiar faces asked for quests, but his mind lingered on Candace's growth. As requests poured in, he prepared for another unexpected favor. Dee, now financially stable from her completed quests, decides it's time to move out. She thanks Loren for the support and reveals she found an affordable inn to stay. She admits her lingering vampire instincts remain difficult to suppress despite eating human food. Out of caution, she chooses distance. But her loyalty to Layla-sama keeps her grounded. Layla explains Dee's thirst was once eased with prisoner's blood, though Dee always craved more. Loren stays cautious, but Layla assures him Dee won't lose control around him. The vampire girl received another set of quests, each familiar yet demanding. She recalled her first job, smiled faintly, and reassured Loren that her body could still manage. Despite growing rumors, she remained calm. Admiring adventurers whispered as she passed. Loren worried about overworking her, but she insisted she was fine. Still, suspicions had begun to spread among the guild. Loren searched for her at the inn but found she'd vanished. Rumors thickened. He decided to investigate, suspecting Sir Bardell's involvement, and braced himself for the worst possible outcome. Loren handed over a new set of quests to Dee, reminding her of the location. Despite her fatigue, she accepted with a smile, drawing admiration and quiet suspicion alike. Dee's rising popularity stirred whispers among adventurers, and her absence raised concern. Loren began investigating her movements, piecing together the mystery hinted at in the letters he had received. The clues led Loren to a secluded mansion. As he watched Dee return inside, uncertainty clouded his thoughts. Was she involved in the disappearances or just another pawn in the dark? Dee's recent achievements surprised the guild. Loren, who had recognized her potential, quietly watched as others praised her. With her hood drawn, she humbly received the next round of quests. Children and adventurers flocked around Dee, enchanted by her presence. Despite praise, she stayed focused, asking for more quests. Loren noted her growing reputation and how naturally she earned everyone's admiration. While Loren received a letter, Dee vanished into her duties. Rumors about her began to spread. Concerned, Loren decided it was time to uncover the truth behind her movements. Loren confronted the woman in the mansion. Her sudden transformation into a grotesque creature caught him off guard, but he stayed calm, realizing the situation had taken a sinister, unexpected turn. Without hesitation, Loran dashed forward, striking her head into the ground. Shock filled her eyes as her monstrous form crumbled, the floor cracking from the blow's sheer force and precision. A priest arrived, casting a dispel spell. The woman collapsed, released from the nightmare spell's grip. Confused, she awakened, while Loran calmly explained why her body felt so heavy now. Candy, freed from the nightmare spell, stood dazed. Loran confirmed she'd been under control. She struggled to believe it, slowly piecing together memories, her expression shifting from confusion to embarrassment. As Loran unlocked the room, Candy followed, horrified by the imprisoned victims. His calm voice explained the situation. He came to rescue them. Candy's guilt stirred as she realized the truth. A young noble confronted them, backed by guards. Loran introduced himself and explained Candy's odd behavior. The noble threatened a complaint, but Loran sensed there was more behind the smug smile. Loran arrived to find adventurers locked away. The feudal lord requested answers, but the culprit redirected blame to Candy. Her name caused confusion, casting suspicion and tightening the grip of tension. Inside a hidden chamber, old tools lined the wall. The man claimed Candy used enchantment to manipulate him. Loran began connecting past memories, recognizing signs of a deeper secret unfolding. Loran's calm questioning shattered the man's composure. Faced with truth, the captive stammered. Around them, confusion spread, while Candy stood dazed, unsure whether to speak or let silence shield her. Loran revealed the truth. The man had used Candy's nature to mask his twisted actions. Candy, stunned, realized she'd been manipulated and forced to consume blood without knowing the source. Disgusted and furious, Candy lost her composure. Her magic flared violently, rejecting the insult to her kind. With cold pride, she denounced the man's race and declared his offense unforgivable. The man tried to retaliate with magic, but chaos erupted. Candy's wrath summoned overwhelming force. Blood spilled, and her calm vengeance surfaced. She promised one thing: he would regret everything. Loran struck the man without hesitation, silencing further tricks. The threat of hypnosis returned. Unshaken, Loran exposed the scheme, while Candy silently watched, her presence alone amplifying the tension. The man panicked at Loran's mention of the king. He mocked Candy, revealing his prejudice. Candy stepped forward, insulted twice, once as a vampire, once in Loran's name, and resolved to act. Feigning surrender, the man begged to learn. Candy smiled coldly, instructing him to the bed. Loran remained still as Candy prepared to teach. In a room full of tools, the man pleaded desperately, offering money, excuses, anything. Candy's voice cut through, asking what he answered when others begged. Tears blurred his sight. Remorse too late. Loran held him down silently. Loran's chilling words sealed his fate. The tools that once tortured innocents now awaited him. Screams echoed through stone halls. Justice reversed. Death would not come quickly, nor mercifully. Loran presented the defeated culprit to the authorities. The truth of the torture shocked everyone. Despite the man's twisted reasoning, justice had been delivered without mercy or sympathy from anyone. Gratitude poured from the officials, but Loran declined credit. The feudal lord acknowledged the trauma behind the crimes, yet Loran remained composed, requesting only peace for future adventurers and citizens. Riding away under moonlight, Loran refused the reward. He hadn't acted for gain. Candy reflected quietly, disgusted by the man's deeds, yet aware that pain often left people broken inside. As they traveled, Candy questioned Loran about war and values. He didn't expect her hypnosis claim. She smiled faintly, admitting vampires tended toward extremes, an answer that hinted at regret. Their conversation deepened. Candy revealed vulnerabilities vampires faced in sunlight, especially to magic. Loran pieced together truths from past wars, realizing how rumors and survival tactics shaped their terrifying reputation. For the first time, Candy confided in a human. She recalled returning from a quest at dusk, believing the man never realized her true nature, a secret now safely shared. Loran warned Candy not to underestimate humans again. She accepted his words with humor, but his sincerity pierced through. He reminded her, her uniqueness had value, but so did caution. Candy playfully teased the idea of falling for humans. Yet beneath the jokes, she thanked Loran earnestly. Without him, she would have been forced into a degrading act she never chose. Candy explained the depth of her humiliation, nearly forced to feed under compulsion. To her kind, such an act was sacred. Loran's help hadn't just saved her, it restored her dignity. Candy gently bit Loran without drawing blood, calling it a gesture of respect. She explained restraint was a form of courtship, proof that she valued him beyond a vampire's instinct. Loran questioned the meaning behind her ritual. Candy offered her blood, revealing her love without hesitation. Her words were clear: by drinking it, he would accept her heart and her devotion. Their bond sealed, Candy embraced him in joy. She kissed him without fear or doubt. In that moment, she felt fulfilled, grateful, loved, and unafraid of what came next. As Candy and Loran shared a moment, Layla interrupted with fury. Her jealousy flared, scolding them for their boldness. Candy teased her in return, amused by Layla's flustered reaction. Layla protested loudly, accusing them of showing off. Candy stayed composed, while Loran explained it was a cultural ritual. Layla's frustration grew, but her prideful smile hinted at reluctant approval. Storming off, Layla shouted her denial. Moments later, she collapsed into sleep. Loran and Candy watched over her, realizing the emotional weight had exhausted her more than she admitted. Layla sensed everything before words were spoken. The smell of blood confirmed her suspicions. Loran acknowledged her insight, and for once, Layla appeared caught off guard by his honesty. She admitted she waited because she wanted to. Despite jealousy, Layla was glad he returned safely. Loran welcomed her words warmly, and her guarded expression softened into gratitude. In the quiet comfort of morning, Loran embraced her gently. Layla, finally at ease, whispered two simple words that held everything she'd felt all along: I'm home. The town bustled with activity as guild staff prepared for something unusual. Loran noticed tension in the air. Whispers spread fast. New arrivals from headquarters had stirred up commotion. Inside the guild, chatter grew louder. Loran questioned the disturbance. Layla explained the sudden arrival of 3 HQ employees. Faces grew tense while Melia calmly interacted with the guests. Loran's eyes widened when he saw Melia's face. Her unexpected appearance, radiant and calm, shocked him. He called her name, voice sharp with urgency. Melia turned, surprised by his tone. Loran noticed the guild buzzing unusually. Travelers, officials, and staff shuffled nervously, whispering rumors. Among them, Melia's steady gaze kept calm. Someone had shifted the balance within headquarters today. While Melia handled forms with her usual grace, Loran observed a familiar yet unexpected face. His breath caught. That smile, soft but haunting, belonged to someone thought lost. Melia, he whispered. Before answers could form, an explosion ripped through the air. Screams followed rubble. Loran shielded Melia instinctively, senses sharpened. This wasn't random, it was planned, and someone nearby was the target. A sudden explosion shattered the calm of the marketplace. Debris rained from above. Panic surged through the crowd as people screamed and scattered. Loran rushed forward, instincts sharpened, senses alert. Smoke and rubble cloaked the Adventurers Guild remains. Survivors coughed through dust, eyes wide. Loran shielded Melia as they emerged. Rumors stirred. Was it a lover's quarrel or something calculated? Among ruins, Loran pieced together the truth. The argument was staged, the destruction deliberate. Terror, not passion, had struck. As the guild closed for repairs, new questions took root. After the guild received a large reward from headquarters, the branch staff gathered amid the ruins. Despite the destruction, excitement stirred as the branch manager suggested using the funds differently. Their journey led them to the coast, where the sea stretched wide and bright. Melia beamed with joy, while the others settled in, ready to forget the chaos for now. Inside the carriage, laughter replaced tension. Loran, usually reserved, found himself surrounded by eager guildwomen. Though unexpected, the retreat marked a temporary peace, a rare break from their turbulent everyday duties. The guild had just received a reward of 500,000 rin for recent achievements. Among the ruins, a bold suggestion emerged: why not spend it on something uplifting after all the chaos? A seaside retreat was chosen. Everyone boarded the carriages and headed for the coast. Excitement built as the sea came into view, a brief escape from missions and stress. Inside the carriage, lively chatter filled the air. Loran sat surrounded by women, quietly observing. Though not fond of such outings, he agreed normalcy, even strange, was welcome this time. After settling in the inn, Melia invited Watarwa for sightseeing, dragging her into a swimsuit hunt. Loran, left behind, silently accepted the chaos, trusting Melia to handle everything sensibly. Loran's peace was short-lived. Elvie, a vampire informant, appeared unannounced, requesting an investigation. Despite joking flirtation, her real concern was serious. Rumors of rising drug use had reached the capital. Loran confirmed the drug's effects and source. Disguised beneath commerce, a shop in the red light district distributed it. Determined to protect his town, he resolved to act before danger spread. The guild celebrated with a huge reward. Though damages remained, a strange suggestion shifted the mood. With a confident smile, Candy proposed something unexpected: and everyone paused, intrigued by her idea. Instead of repairs, Candy led the group to the sea for a recreational escape. Excitement filled the air. The journey had begun, and Melia's joy lit up the carriage window. Loran, though hesitant, joined the trip. The group bonded along the way. Each conversation unveiled hidden sides, but as Loran observed the all-female company, he sensed something deeper awaiting ahead. The guild received a hefty reward, lifting everyone's spirits. Amid the talk of repairs, Dee unexpectedly proposed a leisure trip, her grin wide with mischief, catching even Loran off guard. Carriages rolled toward the coast as the team arrived at a scenic seaside town. Excitement bubbled especially from Melia, who leaned out joyfully, soaking in the rare, dazzling view. Though hesitant, Loran agreed to join. The carriage brimmed with laughter, mostly women. He sat quietly, musing over his normal life, unaware of how far from ordinary this trip would turn. Loran warns the man to stop the drug trade if he truly cares for the town. Meanwhile, a mysterious gate spell opens, indicating the presence of a powerful demon summoner. Loran tracks the trail to a hill, observing the layout. Learning the Baron is involved, he stealthily approaches the mansion, realizing the top-floor room likely belongs to the mastermind. Avoiding the guards with ease, Loran confirms the Baron's quarters. From experience, he knows the highest room offers control and view exactly where someone running the town's darkest secrets would reside. Loran silently landed on the noble's balcony, having scaled the wall without alerting a soul. Below, agents deployed quietly. His mission: confront the manor's lord suspected of trafficking forbidden drugs. The noble, startled, demanded answers. Loran remained calm, presenting a false identity as a secret agent. His warning was subtle. Drawing attention now would only expose the noble's hidden operations. Cornered, the noble panicked, asserting ownership over the land. Loran clarified he served the crown. With a chilling gaze, he declared the crime unforgivable, spreading the drug's second ends tonight. The noble lunged, screaming delusions of kingship. Loran struck cleanly, disarming and silencing him with one blow. His words: cold rulers should protect, not exploit. The corrupted had fallen by justice. Word of the incident reached the capital. The king, troubled by the spread of second, approved Loran's investigation. A nationwide ban followed. The Farand kingdom would act swiftly against corruption. Baron Kusera was stripped of everything. Loran, addressing the court, confirmed the Baron's guilt. But deeper truths lingered. He had seen signs. The drug's origin wasn't human. A demon was involved. Dragged from the court, Baron Kusera's cries echoed in fear. The truth had shattered his pride. Loran watched in silence, knowing justice was done, but the real enemy had yet moved. In the bustling shop, Dee marveled at the swimsuit display, unaware of their purpose. Warawa panicked, explaining social norms. Dee, undeterred, simply wanted something that wouldn't ruin her movement. Dee misunderstood again, suggesting she could undress in water. Warawa objected fiercely, but Dee revealed her reason: she wanted to wear something cute for someone she liked. That dream felt important. Encouraged, Warawa joined the search. Dee found a pattern she liked. Warawa hesitated, then agreed to help choose. For once, Dee asked for guidance, not tactics, just taste. A quiet shift. While browsing swimsuits, Warawa admired Dee's confidence but felt unsure about her own choices. Still, she picked options earnestly. But soon, Dee noticed her friend had quietly slipped away without notice. The busy port town buzzed with merchants and travelers. Dee searched through the crowd, weaving swiftly between people. Her eyes scanned every face. Her instincts warned her something was out of place. Dee spotted a familiar figure vanishing into the alleys. She followed, but the warehouse ahead was locked tight. Peeking through a window, she found no one, only suspicious stacks of cargo. Dee pleaded for Luther to return, but he dismissed her coldly. He embraced his new life: freedom, indulgence, no comparisons. Layla watched, sensing this was not the brother Dee remembered. Luther's denial grew cruel. He mocked Layla, demanding silence. Candace realized the truth: Luther was no longer royal nor rightful heir. He was a threat wearing a prince's face. Layla stepped forward to protect Dee. Electricity surged as Luther laughed, unhinged. His power, once noble, now twisted. Layla braced for battle, facing not a brother, but a dangerous imposter. Layla launched a desperate attack, piercing Luther. But her blow wasn't enough. He stood unfazed, mocking her effort. Dee watched in horror as Layla collapsed, bloodied and barely conscious. Layla fell limp. Dee trembled, staring at the brutal scene. Luther stood calm, blood-stained, amused. The air grew still. Dee's voice cracked. Her friend's body lay broken in her arms. Luther approached Dee slowly, speaking softly. He revealed his hatred, buried beneath years of envy. Worshipped Layla, gifted Layla, while he remained in her shadow. This was his twisted resolution. Luther erupted in rage, hurling power wildly. Dee stood firm, unmoved by his insults. Her quiet stare pierced deeper than words. He struck blinding force and she vanished beneath the blow. A devastating crash tore through the wall. Dust scattered. From it emerged Loran, calm, unfazed. He approached with quiet confidence. To Luther, he spoke coldly. If Layla is weak, you're beneath her. Dee confirmed Luther's identity. Loran assessed quickly an army commander. Luther scoffed at his humanity. But Loran stepped forward, no longer patient, his voice low, precise. I can kill you. Loran calmly questioned Luther about the drug second. Luther sneered, dismissing the threat. Loran remained cold, declaring Luther's death inevitable. The gap between them widened not in strength, but clarity. Luther's eyes darted. Loran vanished, reappeared instantly, cloaked in refined energy. Luther panicked. Loran casually named his technique Majaragus. The former prince realized he wasn't just outmatched, he was outclassed completely. Loran deflected praise. His skill seemed minor, but execution made it deadly. Luther attacked wildly, yet to Loran he lacked everything: strategy, strength, refinement. It was over before it began. Loran countered Luther's furious barrage without effort. Calmly he analyzed every flaw. He wasn't struggling, he was thinking aloud. For Luther it was a fight. For Loran it was dissection. Loran struck back, fast and exact. Luther was stunned not just by the hit, but the fact a human used Majaragus. To Loran it was technique. To Luther, humiliation. Layla revealed Loran had once sealed her power. Luther screamed betrayal, but Loran stood unmoved, exposing Luther's twisted view of pride. To him, honor wasn't blood, honor was how you protected others. Luther charged wildly, electricity coursing through him, but his attacks lacked rhythm and skill. His enemy calmly assessed him mid-battle, exposing every flaw. Luther was strong, but clearly unrefined and reckless. A precise blow sent Luther crashing down. Stunned, he couldn't believe a human cast Majaragus. The man explained it wasn't special, just skill. Layla quietly watched, knowing Luther had lost. Bruised and humiliated, Luther raged. He couldn't accept her siding with a human. But she stood firm. Even after the war, Layla still protected her kind now. That included humans too. Layla stood silently as Luther collapsed, his pride shattered. She confessed her feelings, admitting her choice. Once meant to rule, he had instead spread ruin. They judged him not by race. Luther screamed, unable to bear her truth. He raged at the world and himself, blinded by regret and loss. He blamed her, yet her quiet acceptance only deepened his self-hatred. In solitude and reflection, Layla remembered her reign. Factions demanded war, she resisted. Tired and cornered, she met him, her escape and redemption. For his sake, she abandoned her title and past. Luther collapsed, overwhelmed by the man's sheer force. Powerless, he cursed the turn of events. The victor looked down coldly, unimpressed. Dee lay unconscious. Layla watched in silent tension. Beneath the starlit port, the man carried Dee's body through the alley. He questioned Layla about spirit magic. Despite its ban, he chose to act. Hesitation had no place. Layla explained the cost of spirit magic: life force, pain, and danger. Still, he was resolute. Dee's death wasn't acceptable. He'd risk everything to save her, even his own life. Loran carried Dee's body through the forest, searching for a quiet place. Layla followed, uncertain. The forest clearing opened before them, silent, secluded. It was time to attempt the forbidden. Loran began the ritual. Magic symbols surged, encircling Dee's lifeless form. Her body glowed faintly. As his energy poured in, Layla watched, whispering his name, fearing what might be lost. Light burst, then silence. Dee stirred. Her fingers twitched beneath her robe. A single breath escaped her lips. The spell had worked. She was alive, and Loran had not fallen. Loran opened his eyes, staring silently at the ceiling. The ritual had passed. Dee was alive, but the cost lingered within him, unseen. Morning light offered no peace, only questions. He awoke from deep rest, his limbs aching from magic backlash. The silence of the room couldn't mask the fatigue weighing on his body, proof of the spell he had cast. 2 days had passed since the resurrection. Though he moved stiffly, concern from the demon girl lingered. They spoke of spirit magic and past risks, but his resolve had not faltered. They discussed the drug second, a remnant from demon wars. The origin remained a mystery, but its misuse among humans was clear. His mission was far from over. Loran wakes up with a weight pressing on his chest, not physical but magical. He recalls the spirit magic he used. 2 days have passed since he risked everything to save Dee. Still unsteady, Loren walks and converses with Layla. They discuss the demon drug second and the old war medicine types. Suspicion grows someone is supplying forbidden substances to humans. Dee, now awake, greets them with her usual humor. Despite lingering weakness, she rejoins them. The team heads to the port, where a beach trip offers brief respite from looming danger. Loren and the others reached a secluded clearing. With the ritual prepared, they laid the vampire girl at the center. Light erupted, sacrifice and magic interwoven to challenge the darkness. Her body shimmered as the spell took hold. Faint breath returned, eyes flickered open. Relief filled the air, but the exhaustion was deep. He collapsed, drained by the forbidden spell. He awoke in a quiet room, sunlight spilling through curtains. The ceiling was unfamiliar, but the peace felt real. Loren blinked, uncertain if the nightmare had truly ended or not. After hours of play, the group rested under the shade. Loren sensed unease nearby. A crowd gathered. An unconscious elf had washed ashore, her presence raising more questions than answers. As they inspected the elf, Loren recognized her Rosie, a dark elf in disguise. Her form was no illusion. She lived in the demon world. No one expected her here. The group regrouped for a quiet barbecue. Though cheerful on the surface, each face bore silent questions. Night fell over the peaceful shore, hiding the mysteries that had just begun. Loren wakes from rest, his body aching from magical backlash. The mission left him drained. Though 2 days passed, the fatigue clung stubbornly. He forced himself up, determined to recover. Though weak, Loren descended the stairs. The red-haired girl scolded him gently, amazed by his recovery. Talk shifted to magic used on a vampire. The backlash was greater than expected. As they conversed, the topic turned to medicine. Second, an analgesic from the demon world had resurfaced. Loren pieced together the past, suspecting leftover powder meds sparked something dangerous again. Loren prepared for the day, aware that Melia was waiting. A mysterious woman reminded him of their evening promise. Another girl, smiling faintly, asked for a moment of his time. He informed her about Melia's invitation. Though calm, the girl inwardly cursed her missed chance. She warned him to be careful, masking jealousy with a smile. He promised he would. As Loren stepped out, work responsibilities called the girl away. He found Melia waiting excitedly. Her nervous smile faded with relief, and together they stepped into town under soft sunlight. Loren accompanied Melia through the bustling market, watching her delight in foreign goods. Each stall sparked her excitement. Intrigued by her world, he began to understand why she invited him. As noon arrived, they sought a place for lunch. Melia left briefly, giving Loren a moment. Remembering his promise to Dee, he hurried away, determined not to appear late. Loren rushed to the rocky coast, finding Dee already waiting. She scolded him gently. He claimed he'd arrived earlier unnoticed. Dee smiled faintly, hiding her disappointment as their plan began. Loren arrived at the rocky coast where Dee had prepared a fishing rod. Her intentions were clear, but Loren stayed composed, resisting distractions. He knew time was limited today. A sudden pull interrupted their moment. Loren handed the rod to Dee, who barely reacted in time. As the line jerked wildly, even she questioned whether Loren understood fishing. Dee wrestled with the rod, startled by its intense resistance. Something massive stirred beneath the waves. Her instincts sharpened. This wasn't normal. She sensed strange forces pulling from the deep. Loren prepared for his outing as Melia waited. The branch manager dropped in early, curious. Despite recovering, she teased him before urging him to enjoy the day, hinting at her feelings. Walking through the market, Loren began to understand Melia's world. After lunch plans were made, she excused herself. Meanwhile, another girl rushed to meet him, fearing she had missed the time. At the cliffside, Dee prepared her fishing gear. Loren arrived, confused by the setup. Teasing turned to chaos when something massive bit. Dee gripped the rod, fighting back unexpected underwater resistance. Dee struggled to reel in the line, her arms trembling. The pull weakened. Below the waves, Loren rode the enormous fish underwater, pushing its final strength to the limit. The fish lay lifeless on the rocks, its eyes clouded. Dee sat, exhausted from the battle. Loren calmly confirmed the result, its strength spent in a drawn-out underwater confrontation. Loren dried off and rejoined the group. Dee offered the fish for dinner. They shared light words. She noticed seaweed on his head. Loren claimed it was just dust. Dee battled the fierce pull of the rod, sweat dripping, hands trembling. The monstrous fish beneath fought with unnatural force. Loren watched, silent and still, holding his breath for too long. The sea giant lay defeated, lifeless on the rocks. Dee stared at its dulled eyes, stunned by the toll. Loran explained calmly it was a death match, draining both sides completely. With the fight over, Dee offered the catch for dinner. Loran declined, he had plans. Despite a healed body, he dismissed concern. She smiled warmly, noticing seaweed atop his drenched head. Dee anxiously battled the current, her rod shaking from resistance below. Worry crept in. Loran hadn't surfaced. Then, a massive fish erupted from the depths, with Loran still clutching tightly. They shared dinner plans as calm returned. Dee smiled, Loran reassured her. He brushed off seaweed, claiming it was dust. Normalcy returned, though something unspoken lingered between them silently. While resting together, she noticed an old scar along his side. She teased him about being vulnerable, but he calmly admitted there were more remnants of battles never spoken aloud. She gently questioned the meaning behind the scars. He turned away, replying vaguely. She studied his back with quiet curiosity, but he ended it, brushing it off as inexperience. The next morning he returned to work at the guild. A bright-eyed D-rank adventurer arrived with a request. His calm demeanor returned, burying everything from the night before. Sasha confidently requested a quest with high reward. Loran handed her one, explaining the route was a detour through a narrow path. She accepted, not knowing what awaited ahead. The detour mission sounded simple, just guard the passers-by. Loran explained she'd be part of a team. Sasha decided to test it for one day, confident she could manage alone. Chaos erupted as a massive gatehawk attacked the road. A guild member burst in, shouting for aid. The team on site failed. Now it had to become an emergency quest. While recovering from past battles, Loran revealed the scars she hadn't noticed before. Curious and calm, she asked about the others. He admitted there were many, each with meaning. Though he dismissed the tale behind his scars, she sensed weight behind his silence. Their moment ended quietly. Morning arrived. At the guild, a cheerful adventurer approached him for work. The girl requested a quest with high rewards. Loran calmly offered a dangerous mission. As she accepted it with resolve, he watched closely, reminded of his own difficult beginnings. While tracing a faint scar, she realized even he bore the marks of past battles. Calmly, he admitted there were more. Scars told stories. His were long buried. She noticed scars only covered his back. He offered no explanation, just that one mistake had scarred his front. Unconcerned, she beamed. Outside, duty waited. A new quest began. At the guild, a girl named Sasha requested a quest. He recognized her name. Something stirred within. Without delay, he accepted the request. Sasha's path was about to cross his. While resting beside her, Dee noticed an old scar on Loran's chest. Surprised, she realized the calm man beside her had once faced grave danger. Loran merely nodded, unbothered. She asked about the scars on his back. Loran calmly dismissed it as an experience. Outside, the town bustled, but Sasha, a bright D-rank adventurer, approached the guild for work. Loran assigned her a guarding quest on a mountain detour. She accepted. Moments later, a gatehawk appeared. Panic spread. With grim resolve, Loran left alone. The scar on his chest pulsed. The gatehawk fell, its massive body defeated. Sasha stood stunned, realizing her mistake. She underestimated the enemy. He reassured her, brushing off his broken glasses like they meant nothing. Sasha recalled a past rescue, convinced it was him. He denied it, hiding the truth behind cold words. She hesitated, sensing familiarity. He turned away, duty pulling him back. Riding through the quiet woods, he reflected. She remembered, even after all this time. Hidden identities and old scars lingered. At dawn, the guild awaited, but the past stirred quietly. Sasha stood amid the fallen gatehawk, shaken but grateful. She hadn't expected its size. As she thanked the guild staff, she noticed something odd. Their glasses had broken during the fight. She realized she'd seen him before, without glasses. He denied it, coldly. Dismissing her recognition, he turned away, leaving Sasha behind as he returned alone to report the incident. Riding into the forest shadows, he reflected silently. Despite his denial, her words lingered. She remembered. His expression hardened. His past might no longer remain buried if she kept remembering. She teased him about being overly cautious, waving the quest paper with confidence. Despite his warning, she left with determination, sword in hand, eager to prove herself this time. As she departed, whispers followed her. At the guild, concern stirred. Her curious nature and sharp eyes unsettled others. He pondered quietly, was her presence coincidence, or something far deeper? While the guild returned to routine, he masked unease behind duty. She, now cheerfully blending in, relished peace. Yet deep inside, he feared normalcy was a fragile, fleeting illusion. Sasha challenged the giant gatehawk alone but was overwhelmed. Just before the beast's final blow, Loran intervened, defeating it swiftly. She thanked him, unaware of his hidden strength behind shattered glasses. Though she remembered being saved before, Loran denied any past encounter. Confused but grateful, Sasha watched him leave. He claimed to report to the guild, hiding his troubled thoughts again. As he rode through the forest, Loran reflected. Sasha had remembered him despite the disguise. Behind calm eyes, he knew his past life as an assassin was not so hidden. The Gatehawk's sudden attack overwhelmed Sasha, who misjudged its size. Loran stepped in, eliminating the threat. Sasha thanked him tearfully, but noticed his broken glasses a subtle clue to his past. Sasha insisted Loran had saved her before, despite his denial. Her memory conflicted with his composed facade. As he departed for the guild, she stood puzzled, sensing something hidden behind his words. Riding through the forest, Loran recalled her recognition. She remembered. His mask, though subtle, hadn't fooled her. The past he tried to bury was closer to the surface than he thought. Sasha awakened in the woods, disoriented, riding behind Loran. He calmly explained she'd been found unconscious. She was puzzled by his timing. He only replied he had a hunch. As they returned to town, Loran reminded her to seek medical help. Sasha hesitated, trying to express gratitude beyond words, but Loran stepped away, rejecting the misunderstanding she implied. Left standing alone under the cold glow of street lamps, Sasha silently watched Loran walk away. Her offer unaccepted, her expression hung between confusion and quiet sorrow under the night sky. Sasha slowly regained consciousness, confused and aching. Loran explained her fall and offered to escort her. She questioned his presence, unaware he followed a hunch, one that had saved her again. Back home, Loran answered questions with silence. Another coworker pressed, sensing his unease. As memories surfaced, he removed his glasses, recalling a mission, a scar, and a little girl at the door. He prepared his blade in silence, eyes shaded by hair. A mission awaited, just like before. In this line of work, he knew something would always go wrong eventually. Moonlight guided his path toward the estate. He recited every step: entry point, objective, exit route. Before dawn, it would be over. Precision and memory were his greatest allies. Before leaving, he recalled her advice. Amy's voice echoed, stay calm, adapt quickly. Even with danger ahead, he focused. That reminder was more valuable than any blade he carried. He steadied his breath and silenced his thoughts. The blade, familiar in his grip, symbolized control. Missions often changed, but the goal remained: complete it cleanly, without emotions or error. Through the forest shadows, he neared the mansion. Every route, every window, every escape planned. The night was his ally, and time, carefully measured, allowed no room for mistakes. Memories of Amy's words echoed, stay calm, adapt quickly. She was the only one who ever believed he could do this, and so, with her voice in mind, he advanced. Amy prepared for her third mission, blade steady, instructions clear. Her steps were silent, her breath controlled. Infiltration was mapped perfectly, no room for error. This was routine, or so she thought. Reaching the manor, Amy found her target already dead. Another assassin stood over the body. Confusion struck her. She hesitated. The lesson echoed in her mind, adapt. Stay calm, survive quietly. The girl appeared. Shock gripped Amy. The assassin readied his blade. Amy shielded the child without hesitation, slashing in return. Pain seared her side. That scar would mark her failure. He had long accepted that danger was constant. With blade in hand, he repeated the routine. Calm and precise, he reminded himself no mistakes. Another night, another target awaited in silence. He reached the estate quietly, recalling every detail: the layout, the escape path, the guards. Everything was calculated. There was enough time. The mission would end before the sun rose. Amy's teachings echoed in his mind. Mistakes happen, stay composed. But he froze. The unexpected broke through his calm. Even so, he couldn't forget her words, not in that moment. He prepared with calm resolve, blade in hand, repeating the mission steps in his head. The mansion loomed ahead, silent and dark. Failure wasn't an option. He had trained relentlessly. The target lay dead before he arrived. Confused, he froze. A masked figure stood beside the body. It was his father, calm, ruthless, instructing him to remain hidden. But the girl entered, wide-eyed. His hesitation betrayed them. Instinct took over. He protected her. Blood spilled, pain surged, and the scar that would shape his guilt was carved that night. The boy entered the room only to find the target already lifeless on the floor. Though ordered to kill, someone else had done the job. His presence remained unnoticed. Still inexperienced, it was his third mission. Confused and exposed, he struggled to retreat silently. But the appearance of his father-figure assassin left him paralyzed with guilt and hesitation. Just as they stood frozen, the target's daughter entered. Her innocent presence disrupted everything. The boy panicked, torn between staying hidden and protecting her from the grim truth. Loran stepped between the girl and the attacker, knives flashing. Despite his small frame, he disarmed the assassin with deadly precision. Blood spilled. The girl watched, paralyzed by fear and awe. Recuperating from his wounds, Loran recounted the mission's failure. He'd memorized the layout, yet froze before the target's child. That hesitation nearly cost lives. His master, angry, treated him silently. Haunted by guilt, Loran tracked the girl's fate. Her family vanished, their home burned. He couldn't forget her eyes. If she was still alive, he vowed he would protect her. Rumors swirled around the guild, an employee who frightened women away. Behind nervous laughs and accusatory stares, tales grew of harassment, jealousy, and strange rivalries focused on one unassuming staff member. The tension finally snapped. Melia broke into tears, overwhelmed. Loran stepped in calmly, offering support. Argan quietly stepped away, realizing his presence only worsened things. The guild's atmosphere shifted noticeably. With the crowd dispersed, she stood before Loran, heart pounding. She confessed her wish just to speak with him. Understanding her intent, Loran suggested they continue outside, away from others. The tension inside the guild escalated as whispers about the girl's interest in Loran circulated. Argan's rash actions came to light, unsettling the balance among staff and adventurers alike. Loran stepped in calmly, offering to relieve Melia. As he took over, the girl's expression softened. Though emotional, she finally had the chance to speak with the one she admired. Face to face, she confessed her true reason for coming. It wasn't a quest, it was him. Loran listened quietly, understanding this moment marked more than a simple meeting. Rumors spread about a man who caused dozens of female adventurers to disappear. Whispers revealed he approached them recklessly, prompting chaos. Among the crowd, one girl watched quietly, listening carefully. The tension eased as Loran stepped in, offering to take over. Melia's stubborn persistence finally reached Argan. With a relieved smile, she stepped forward, grateful, yet still carrying her true intent. She confessed she came not for a quest, but to meet him. Her sincerity surprised him. Realizing her feelings, he suggested they talk elsewhere. Something important lingered between their silence. Rumors spread about the failed attempts of a man trying to charm adventurers. Loran, often targeted by women, unknowingly sparked jealousy. Gossip flourished, while others observed in disbelief. As adventurers returned, tension filled the guild. Melia resisted comfort, unwilling to end her shift. Loran stepped in to help. Argan gently took over, leading the troubled man away. Melia approached Loran with resolve. She wasn't there for a quest, only to speak with him. Her honest intention surprised him, prompting them to find somewhere quiet to talk. Loran warned her to separate work from personal feelings. She replied firmly, hinting he owed someone else that reminder. Her words lingered, leaving him silent beneath the guild's afternoon sky. Argan received a sealed letter from headquarters but was interrupted. A girl entered during lunch break, full of nervous energy. Her timing was off, yet she insisted on proceeding immediately. The girl, Carolina Besley, cheerfully calling herself Lena, had come for her adventurer exam. Argan confirmed her identity. She laughed through the awkwardness, eager to start. He agreed to begin the evaluation. She showed no magical or martial aptitude, barely registering on the test. Still, her spirit was undeterred. Argan, puzzled, prepared the practical exam, unsure what hidden strength she possessed. Argan, the quiet guild examiner, received an official sealed letter just as a visitor arrived early. Carolina Besley stood nervous but determined, ready to prove herself as a future adventurer. Introductions passed quickly. Though Carolina lacked magical ability and combat skill, her enthusiasm didn't waver. Argan began the assessment, noting her intent to gather herbs rather than fight. A difficult case. Carolina confessed her dream, to become a skilled herbalist by first becoming an adventurer. Argan, skeptical yet moved, questioned her resolve, unsure if hope alone could carry her through the test. Lena arrived nervously, hoping to become an adventurer despite arriving early. Argan, handling lunch, recognized her from her application. He decided to conduct her exam since she was already present. Although Lena had no magic talent and weak physical ability, she answered confidently. Argan noticed her sincerity, but grew concerned when she asked to skip the practice due to her limitations. Lena explained her true goal to become a herbalist. Adventuring was just a step toward learning about rare plants. Argan listened silently, curious if her determination could overcome her lack of strength. Lena beamed with gratitude, her dream reignited by a simple approval. The guild worker nodded, sensing her sincerity. She left cheerfully, while he lingered, quietly reflecting on his own doubts. The next day brought a new face. A hesitant adventurer stood before him, eyes restless. When asked, he faltered not from illness but from concern. His words trembled as he spoke. Mentioning Marissa's name, the adventurer finally confessed his worries. The guild worker's expression changed, recalling the girl from before. Something wasn't right, and this conversation would lead to unexpected developments ahead. Gil bursts into the guild, accusing Loran of seducing Marissa. Flustered and defensive, he protests. The situation escalates quickly when rough adventurers overhear and grab Gil, pressuring him to explain himself. Loran intervenes calmly, de-escalating the scene and demanding Gil be released. Gil apologizes and introduces himself, revealing Marissa is his childhood friend. Loran listens quietly, withholding judgment until hearing everything. Gil explains Marissa's change in behavior. She works hard to impress the receptionist Loran. Inspired, Loran reflects on the ideal receptionist he aspires to become, one who genuinely supports the adventurers. The girl hesitated at the counter, nervously explaining her intent to avoid combat. She only wanted to gather herbs. The guild staff considered her reasoning, but the gathering areas were dangerous. She explained her dream of becoming a herbalist, her resistance to poison, and how she lacked strength. Yet her honesty and purpose impressed him. He approved her with one condition: